TCK. Of the internet. Welcome back to another Sunday Funday segment. We'll be organizing here shortly. This week, the popular vote, which won, was shared fate grinding in Shadowbringers areas to bring out some bicolor gemstones. Some folks want it for the XP, some folks want it for the barding, some folks want it for the new Tiny Amaro mount. But at the end of the day, what matters is that is what won the vote. We'll be back in a few minutes after we've had a chance to organize. Thank you for your patience.
If we were doing level 10 fates, that might be true, Kai. I'm not going to be very useful.
Nah, I'm sure it's fine. All ninjas, let's go. Your 195 HP is plenty.
If only you could cheese the leveling system and boost people like a billion XP
Oh,
using
man.
fates.
Like with Blue Mage?
It's pretty much how it works in
Yeah.
Eureka, right? Oh, man. I have done quite a lot of Eureka this weekend. It's a little silly, to be honest.
Yeah, I've just been making a Mongol empire.
Fair enough.
I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ah! PC or PlayStation?
PC.
A man of culture, I see.
I don't own a PS4. I'm too poor for consoles.
Okay, you're telling me this that a PC is cheaper than a console?
No, I'm just saying that I pirate most of my games.
Oh. Touche.
At this
If
point,
you really
there's...
think about it, the overall cost of the games plus the actual console itself, if you play a lot of games, is probably more than buying a PC and, just getting the games for free.
It's at this
I
point
get a
in
lot
the
of games
playback
for
on
free.
YouTube that we pause the feed and go, TCK does not condone piracy. Just fade to black for a sec.
Damn it, I don't have a pirate glamour ready.
Also, I don't think I've ever bought a game full price. Like, I always wait for Steam sales.
Like if I'm excited for the game, I'll buy it launch day on full price, but that's about it. Like I got Mountain Blade 2 on discount on Steam, and that's what I've been no-lifing this whole week.
That finally came out.
Mountain Blade 2?
Yeah.
I mean, it still says it's in early access, but
Of course. Is it going to be like Star Citizen?
There just hasn't been a game that I've thought is worth the $60 up front. Even like God of War, which was an amazing game, I didn't pay full retail for. I just can't see it anymore.
Some games...
definitely not once they increase the price to 70.
Some games you don't know if it's going to be worth it, and then they end up definitely paying for themselves. Like, I was not sure how I was going to feel about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I hadn't played a game since Revelations. I mean, I had dipped my toes in 3, and it was awful, so I didn't play it. But Nazara has logged 191 hours on Odyssey, so that by itself makes the game worth it, and I'm like 30 hours deep.
Damn.
Did you guys get Valhalla?
Not yet, because...
It's supposed to be the same system, so...
It looks really good. I just haven't finished Odyssey yet.
Okay, so I've beaten Valhalla. So here's my sticking points on it. Fantastic game. I was actually able to sit there and beat it, unlike Odyssey. Odyssey, I could not chew through at all. Like, I enjoyed Odyssey enough that I kept going back and played a few times. Yes, Saren's going to come with us. She's just not at her controller at the moment.
Okay.
I enjoyed Odyssey enough. It's just that with all the busy work and everything in the game, it just got too much, and I wound up getting burned out on it real quick before I even got 20% done with the freaking story. Like, I got up to meeting reunited with my mother, and that's the farthest I've ever gotten in that game.
There is really a lot of stuff, and it can definitely tick all of the ADHD boxes for sure. But
Yeah.
I just decide to narrow my focus. I'm like, I feel like doing this right now, and I ignore everything else, because otherwise it's really easy to get overwhelmed.
Yeah. So as far as Valhalla is concerned, got it day one, and I binged it for like 2 weeks, beat it, almost 100%ed it too. Simply because the normal grind and the fact that they condensed all of the busy work that Odyssey had to make it more meaningful and more interesting makes it so, and at least in my opinion, it makes it a much better game to play through because
See,
the side stuff actually is interesting to play.
I had the same problem, but with Horizon, because I'm a completionist, and there were so many icons all over the freaking map that I couldn't finish the main quest because I kept getting sidetracked.
I am on the last quest of the main quest in Horizon, only because I've held off because Nazara wants to watch me finish the game. I'm like it took me 80 hours, I think, to 100% pretty much everything in the game, including all the map icons, and I'm level 59. There is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely a full game.
Yeah, I beat Horizon a couple times already.
The
Not
only
the DLC though.
The only stuff between me and platinuming Horizon are like things that I just don't feel like doing, which is the Frozen Lands like Chieftain trial, trying to get first place on that looks like it's going to be awful, and I don't feel like it. And then stuff like beating the game on the highest difficulty. I'm sure I could do it, but it's not going to be fun. And at that point, I'm just doing it for the trophy, and I'm not that invested.
Yeah. Now, God of War, I went back and I beat that thing on God of War difficulty, and that including the Valkyrie Queen.
I haven't played a God of War game not on impossible difficulty since I think God of War 2. I don't know why. I like the aspect of one shot apparently.
Makes it a bit more challenging.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. God of War's like combat is very friggin'. So
The
right
new
now.
one or the old one?
all of them. Well, I mean, God of War 1, not really, but from 2 to now, they're pretty forgiving in the amount of time you have to evade something.
I am already maxed on, I think, the Tempest. Yes, I am complete on the Tempest.
Okay, so we'll try to avoid starting with the Tempest. Anybody maxed on anything else?
I don't think so. I'm ranked 2 in a lot of stuff, but I'm not maxed. So
Yeah, I'm ranked 2 in all of them. The most I've got Lakeland 41 out of 60, Almarang 16 out of 60, Kalusia 15 out of 60, Ilmeg 13 out of 60, and Raktika is 9 out of 60.
Okay, well, if nobody is maxed on much of anything, I say we start with Lakeland and then just start working our way down the list.
Sounds fair.
sounds like a plan.
Anybody
Cool.
volunteer to be our healer?
I'll do it.
I mean, we're gonna have 16,000 chocobos, so I'm assuming they were gonna do the healing.
Yeah.
I just know that some of the fates get a little spicy.
Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let's do this. And this. I'm just going to be made of buffs. All of the buffs are belong to me. And this. And this.
Anybody want some spirit bond potions?
And this.
I'm still burning through the last set you guys gave me. So.
Probably samurai or monk.
I'll take some, Sarah.
Yeah,
You want some?
Yeah.
Sure.
it takes a long time to go through your stack unless you're dying.
I'll give it to you there.
Like I said, this is a perfect opportunity for you to play on classes that you don't have a lot of practice with, because who cares if you do things right?
Yeah, it's fate farming.
Yeah. Freestyle samurai, here I go.
Love that outfit, Saren.
Thank you.
And I'm already maxed everywhere, so just let me know when somebody caps out, and then I guess we'll switch.
Alright, chocobo time.
I'll taxi a couple of people. I see the
You know
expectant stares.
I was gonna say, ours already next to you. I'm ready for this.
Thank you, Saren.
You're welcome.
Uber.
Dark sir.
We can call it a chocobo.
Ah, dang it. Not fast enough.
R.I.P. Sound like Millhouse, not Millhouse. What's his
Nelson.
name? Nelson. Thank you.
No.
I don't know why I know that.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen any Simpsons. I don't really watch TV anymore.
I've been using the Amaro non-stop. Figure I'd take a taxi sometime.
I don't have to worry about sticking up a low level.
Oh, might help if I did this.
I want to turn my TV down. That is awfully
Yeah.
loud.
Thank you.
Samurai noises. That's why I have my sound effects at 10%.
I don't know what my volume is at, but I know that it's not loud enough to be disruptive to like Discord or on the stream. So
My issue is now that I have a new microphone, I have to put everything through my headset because the
Oh.
microphone doesn't have a mute button like my headset. So that's
I was flame throwing.
Ah, I'm heavy. No.
Alright, Chocobo.
there's only 2 minutes left on the next one over. I don't know how much we're going to be able to do there. Then again, with this many of us, I mean... Oh, it's halfway done, too.
Which means there's somebody on it.
Yeah, we can probably finish it.
Roll in there and just
Yeah.
There's a bee right
smash
back there.
everything.
cheers, love. The cavalry is here.
All right. If we see any hunts on the way, we should also stop for those, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody is probably going to have to tell me which ones are S rank, though, because I've been doing this for 4 years, and I still go, oh, that's an S rank, and people go, oh, no, it's an A.
It's
So,
the size.
That matters.
I mean, so I'm told, but
I mean, I don't know, like, technically which ones are which. I just, like,
It's
this
the
one
little
doesn't seem
icon.
big enough
Yeah.
for an S rank, is usually how I go by it.
so I am not going to do this as an astrologian. For starters, nobody needs heals, and secondly, every time I sink down for a fate, it takes me out of one of my stances.
Oh, that's dumb.
I'm not
That's
doing that
annoying.
a million times tonight.
I think I'm gonna put my sync down macro on my hotbar, though.
I'm just going to troll around
I'm
as a
just saying.
bard.
We have like 7 chocobos all casting Choco Cure. I think it'll keep whoever's tanking up.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be fine.
My
Yeah.
Chocobo is maxed out, so he has Surge and Medica.
Yeah,
So is mine.
I maxed my Chocobo during Heaven's Word, so we're good.
I shall wait before I trigger this.
Well, we're gonna go over to Don't Feed the Gremlins, I figured, since it's already running.
Oh. Okay. With this fate, pay attention to, if you can, catch the speech bubbles above the gremlins' heads.
They say
Your
some
fashion
weird
sense
stuff.
is bad, then you should feel bad. Your face is breaking my immersion.
I have a feeling these are things that people have been reported on for saying.
That's hilarious. There we go. All of the spammable AoE, none of the fuss.
Oh, look at all these gremlin.
Time to
How
die,
much more
gremlins.
AoE?
Oh yeah, I guess I kind of forgot. This is probably also a great way to level your classes that are between 70 and 80.
Yep. I have
Yeah.
a million of them.
I have none.
Nope.
Isn't that a nice feeling?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about this at all anymore. Do I have 3 in the carriage? I do. Sometimes it's hard to see.
I was gonna say, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen, or you've ever had zoomed in on your screen? A Rathlos staring at you.
Unless it's wearing a
I
vase
beg
as a
to
hat.
differ, because the scariest thing I will ever see is being in first-person view and going into Aries' room.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's a contender. You win.
Anybody watching the stream, that is from an old stream you might want to go check out.
True.
Yeah, that is our Founders Week Hide and Seek, which is on our Founders Week 2019 video. Our
I think
20... Yeah.
I did in fact scream.
I
I mean,
remember.
to be fair, it is kind of unsettling.
Especially when you don't expect it.
Yeah, I had never gone into her room before. And then suddenly I was in first person, so my screen was just like filled with it.
And what was funny is she was unsubbed at the time, so she had no indication that we were going to be doing hide and seek. This is just how she had it set up. And it just happened to be the perfect jump scare. We have a Founders Week 2020 playlist that caps off with our award ceremony and parade, which was really a lot of fun.
It really was.
I think what I want to do maybe is lead the pack in...
Time had the Pokeball.
Uh-oh. I think
Lagging, yeah.
next year what I'll do is I'll lead with the Chocobo carriage at the front of the parade, and then whoever's riding shotgun can like do the announcements and call-outs and stuff, so I don't have to try to macro a position, like location thing.
That is a good idea. Also, do you mean doing the parade in the beginning of the week instead of the end of the week?
Could go either way, I guess.
I think I still kind of like it at the end of the week.
I feel like it's a good way to cap off the week.
That's true. The only thought that I just had was like, if we wanted to get like other, if we didn't want to have the events be just in-house, that if we do something like that in the beginning of the week, maybe we could get some attention for some other events.
This is true.
We're doing an Amuro herd.
Huh?
A flight of the Amuro. Because Kai was on his Amuro.
Yeah, I force a habit. I don't think there's any fates up.
Nope.
Oh.
They crushed him. But yeah, I see what you're saying though. With
Oh, but mount.
What? Oh.
That's the difference.
Large, small. Like Kai's getting pecked to death in the back of the Chocobo wagon.
Ow! I'm still getting
no,
hit.
that's Shion. I ain't taking that.
Is he
Oh, no,
still?
Shion's getting
I'm
hit.
still
Shion's
getting hit.
hit.
How is this possible? We're so far away though.
Oh, it's a
Telekinesis.
defense
He has got a neck.
This is the one that
Big
hurts.
He's like
This one hurts like a son of a bitch.
He's like RuneScape's evolution of combat, where suddenly the melee attacks did range damage. This fire giant's a ranged mob. It has a two-handed sword. I don't think so.
It has a giant ass club. I don't think it's right.
I remember my first time discovering RuneScape.
Oh, those were the days.
Back when I was 8.
Back when I was like 14.
It was the second or third week of September 2001 when I first started playing RuneScape.
Yeah. Remember, I saw somebody that had black plate armor with gold trim.
Yep.
And I thought it was the coolest thing, and I had green plate armor at the time.
Yep.
And I was like, and I just asked, it's like, hey, how do you get that armor? He's like, oh, follow me, I'll show you.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Did he kill you?
I know where this is going.
I jumped over a trench, and then he attacked me.
Yep,
Yeah.
You went into the wilderness, and he PvP'd you for your adamant armor.
Yep.
Those
And
were
when
the
I told-
days.
Then when I told someone, I was like, oh, that sucks. And I was like asking people, I started asking more people in the town about what just happened, and people just laughed at me.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like the quintessential early RuneScape experience.
Free armor trimming.
I remember also leveling up my fishing skill considerably and farming the shit out of some lobster because I
Yep.
found out that people were buying them like crazy. And then somebody asked, "Where are you getting all these lobsters?" And I told them. Next thing you know, there's a guide out and everybody's doing it.
Ah,
And
that's
lobsters
a lot of
drop
cones.
dramatically.
Yep. There were certain thresholds for like PvE and PvP food. So lobsters, swordfish was like the next one.
Oh, boss. Get him, Kyle.
I can't target him yet. No, I can.
So I thought he had a dirty name for a second.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah, the amount of grinding in RuneScape, like, it's meme worthy. It's right up there with some Korean MMOs I've played. Sorry, go ahead.
Look at the name of this fic.
Calm a chameleon. I love it.
Comma, chameleon.
It's like they knew you were coming, Shio. Yeah, the last time I unsubbed from RuneScape, I was working towards my max cape because I have quite a few 99s. And I was like, okay, well, I should probably work on Hunter. Everybody says it's good. It's a great way to get rich. And so I did a bunch of prep work to like make the rest of the Hunter grind faster, like tons of bonus experience and experience boosting items. And then I used a third-party website, tip.it or Tipit, to calculate like how many things I was going to have to catch to get 99 Hunter. And then I did it for an hour, and I compared the notes to like my XP per hour and determined it was going to take me 90 hours to get from 92 to 99. And I went, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Were you doing Shinjamas?
I was doing Grenwalls.
Oh, that's even. Wow, that's surprising. Grenwalls are actually pretty good XP.
Yeah, I was doing Grenwalls with crystallized traps and what's the Yakti stick or whatever?
The enchanted Yakti set, yeah.
Yeah. Plus I had some bonus XP from, believe it or not, Barbarian Assault that I had just done on one weekend. And yeah, 90 hours. I probably, if I had done 90 hours of Grenwalls, I probably would have made 100 mil. But I could beat 2 console games in that time, and I'm not doing it.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're capped on gemstones.
I am.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shame. To force job with ye. Why don't I just teleport us there since there's a fate over there?
Good idea.
You're gonna drop us all.
Yeah, but then you can just teleport.
That's a bad
Skittish. I
taxi.
don't know what to do with these gemstones though.
Buy music.
How many should I say? How much should I save? Because I want to get the barter.
The Barty.
It's 350.
Okay.
And someone stole my seat. That toxic mentor.
Ooh.
Yep.
Wait,
Which
there's
one?
2 of them now.
Which one?
There's a whole herd of us now.
That's
Now I
fine,
need to
have
get
an
Kuro
amount.
his
Do
crown.
the flower gardens and the elf tree still sell for a bunch? know they
I
used to.
don't know, to be honest. I haven't really done any fate farming since I finished everything.
You can buy materia.
Oh right, wait.
I only
That's
have
7.
91
Oh, no, that's
gemstones.
8. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have a bunch of materia.
I need that.
I'm doing this for Baby Morrow.
Where do you check your bicolor gem? Do you have to actually like, go to the vendor?
Travel shared fate.
Weird that it's just not. Okay, I'm fine.
That it's not in your freaking currency pouch? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
This is
dumb, IMO.
Right, I'm coming.
Oh, I didn't mean to do
Oh.
that.
Oh well, cowabunga it is.
He took offense to me standing there.
Think you're so cool walking
I mean,
around
I
in
wasn't
Lakeland?
gonna say anything, but you were being pretty rude.
Well, okay.
Standing there menacingly.
This is the way.
I do look pretty menacing.
I'm here.
Welcome to the party.
Yay!
The samurai has arrived. Somebody's chocobo has disappeared.
It was not Hayate, so we're good.
I think it was mine.
Oh no.
Did he run out, or did he get clopped?
He ran out.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Chicken is here.
Chicken
Chicken is
is one of my
back.
favorite names for a chocobo.
I like Harry's too, though.
Upper Body Day?
Yeah.
It's kind of adorable.
Day.
Forlorn maiden.
You know, we don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
experience, right?
But there are
Yeah,
some
but
people
everybody
who
else
love
might.
them.
Oh, I know, but like, I think he's still in the
In the
Forlorn
mindset of...
Maiden. We
yeah.
must get it.
Don't take my joy away from me.
I had one time there was somebody in the Tempest was following me around to the different fates, and they were already kind of a piece of crap, like they had been really annoying the whole time. And then during one of the boss fates, a Forlorn Maiden spawned, and I wouldn't help him damage it. And he was just like, but the free XP! And I was like, that sounds like a you problem. I was like, maybe you should have considered that you might need my help before you decided to be an a-hole. Now we'll see if I can kill the boss before you kill the Forlorn Maiden. Let's find out.
Now it's a race.
Yep. Good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Were they?
Aww.
They were. Just because the boss was still at like 35%, and I'm not going to clear that solo before you can kill a trash mob. Weast, I
Okay.
guess.
It's close to the Oscar imperative.
Oh yeah, just warp over there. I've got the teleport buff,
I look
so
No!
so
land!
threatening.
Land! Oh god.
you're welcome.
What?
Thank you.
You would have ported her back to like the Crystarium or something.
Which normally it's like, okay, whatever, you can still accept the free teleport, but then I remembered you're on the PS4 and your load times are awful, so...
Well, I mean,
To be fair,
better now on the SSD.
Touche.
I've seen myself load faster than a couple of UPC players sometimes.
That's because their PCs need to be upgraded.
I do have a 10-year-old rig, although I do have an SSD, so...
I'm running this off a hard drive with an SSD cache, so
Ooh.
it depends if I've been to an area before. If I've been to that area before, then it's been cached.
I'm running
And it
this
will
on a
load
primary
faster.
M.2 drive, so I don't think you're going to beat my time.
Yeah.
My
Well,
question
Rick
is,
got
how
the
is there
data.
anywhere you haven't been
Oh,
yet?
you guys went to the other fate.
What?
I thought we were going to the boss fate.
Oh, nope.
Too bad.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about any of you specifically. I meant like UPC people.
Yeah,
Oh.
just you
Yeah,
people
you
in
people.
general.
You
Yeah.
people, huh?
Yeah, the you people.
I mean, to be granted, we also have a monster rig at home, but she doesn't play on it.
No, because I don't want to buy this game for a third time.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I wouldn't want to buy it a second time.
We had to when we went to PS4.
Yeah.
Wow, I got bronze.
I just used Infuriate. Come on.
Oof.
Are you infuriated?
It's
Yes.
infuriating.
You're infuriated. Oh, hey, we have a limit break.
Oh, neat.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, that's right. Good limit break to the
Don't worry,
boss.
I'll use it.
See, back when chocobos were actually part of the party, you could get like limit break in a party with like 4 people and 4 chocobos. You could get like
At tier 2.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Take it to the limit.
I wish you could LB3 in the world. That'd be cool.
Yeah. That
You
would
can do
also
it in
kill
Explore
people.
Mode dungeons.
It would kill people's
Frame rate.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. I
Yeah,
could also
I
see
don't
people
know.
not caring.
Yeah, which is why it would kill their frame rate because people would be doing it all the time,
Yeah.
especially
Well-
on hunts. People would go to hunts, like would farm the LB3 and get to the hunt and kill it in like one shot.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, already with the hunt trains, they'll spam and shout chat, dismiss chocobos and minions, and people will
Yeah.
not do that at all. They're like, nope,
Yep.
I'm keeping my chocobo. Fuck your frame rates.
Yeah.
Might help if I played a song and like did my actual class mechanics.
Yeah, stop being a trash
Eh,
bar.
don't bother.
I mean, I don't know how to break this to you, but all bards are trash.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Good thing
Shots
nobody's a
fired.
bard main.
I said that partly for Shio's benefit because he used to be a bard main.
I used to, but the word's just so true that it hurts.
Yeah. This is where I'd put my DPS, if I had any!
But didn't they just get a massive buff?
It wasn't a
No,
massive
they
buff.
didn't.
Nope.
Everybody hyped up the massive buff that they got, and the buff was their Refulgent Arrow went from 210 potency to 230, and that
Yep.
was it.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds amazing.
It's not.
Red Mage got a bigger buff, are you kidding me?
Red Mage is now ridiculously powerful, even more so.
Yeah, everybody was like, oh, Red Mage is getting a buff, and I was like, why? And they were like, the
Well-
damage isn't that great, and I was like, really? Come dungeon with me.
I was gonna say when we were running dungeons earlier, Kai, those trash mobs were melting,
Oh, yes.
and especially the one when we had the monk with us.
Oh, yeah. That monk, their damage was nuts. It was
Monk
like
damage is real up
30%
there.
more than mine.
It's real up there, now, especially for AoE.
Yeah.
Monk damage go burr.
Yep.
Monk damage go burr.
We got to an AoE pack, and I was like, oh, at least I'll probably pull ahead here. LOL, no. And granted, they were in full 520s, but still.
They said that when we're doing maps, you guys said that like my damage was going insane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you capped me like 6 or 7 times.
Maybe on our break I'll switch to monk. I won't switch to it now simply because
The good thing is that monk
Um,
AoE does not
Blair.
require target, so it's
Yes.
actually good for fate, which is good for fates.
Yes.
Whereas Red Mage AoE not only requires a target, but your cast can fail if you target the wrong trash mob, and it dies before your cast finish.
Yeah, that's why I don't like doing fates as caster.
Kinda
Right.
sucks.
Samurai has the same problem. For Goken, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have 3 other AoEs. You don't need an target for it, right?
For your starter AoE, you do.
Yeah, to
Then
start the
okay.
AoE combo.
Yeah.
It's basically cone, donut, donut, cone, donut, donut,
Oh, I
cone,
got-
cone.
God damn it! I left the freaking arena and I lost all my buffs.
I did that 4 times the last time we were here, which is why I'm really glad I'm a bard now.
Yeah, honestly, ranged is the best option for fates.
I'm
Unless
trying to
you're
pull
doing
them
fates on your-
into the circle.
Unless they're on your level, you're gonna have to. Especially when there's like fate trains, like when I was doing relic stuff. That is very annoying because people will always keep the stuff at the edge of the fate for some reason.
Yeah, like they won't pull it in, and if you try to do caster, you're not going to get any casts off, and just
Well, that's because if you try to pull it in and do the nice thing, then people are just gonna fucking wreck it before you even get a shot off.
Yeah.
I have friends for some reason.
oh good.
But that one's dead.
I like bard because if I don't do any damage, it doesn't matter. People
Yeah,
are like,
it's
oh, you're not
anybody's gonna notice.
right. You're not playing a song. Whoops. Sorry, I guess. Sucks to suck.
You know, the sad thing is that Bard used to be 100% necessary in endgame content in Realm Reborn.
I remember
were
people
free-
saying that.
They were pretty potent too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you needed a
Or-
bard on your team for raids. If you didn't have a bard on your team for raids, then you weren't completing it.
Because they gave a raid-wide dancer buff, basically.
Yep.
Not only that, they were the only way that you could recover MP and TP in the middle of combat.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
loved Mage Ballad. Can't tell you how many times this was useful when me and Kai were doing stuff, and be like, "Oh, you need an MP regen? Here you go."
Also, mana shift was good for that second that they had it.
Oh man, I miss mana shift on my red mage because I never had any
Oh,
MP
sorry.
problems.
Kayam, save them!
What?
Save the warrior!
Let
Not
them all
dead.
be.
Nope.
They just
They
died.
did.
Oh, I wasn't fast enough.
R.I.P.
We have a red mage that could try to pick up the body from the ground.
I don't know if it works like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna let you do that.
We don't have weird. They don't have weird pseudo ass power. They can't take over bodies, make more bodies.
So
Bodies.
we
All I was gonna
shredded
say,
that.
All you have to do is target the guy on the ground and you could res him.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I'm very confused.
Since when does it let you
Gone now.
revive NPCs?
No, the player.
No, the
Oh,
player.
see, that's where I think Shio and I were just like, I'm pretty sure you can't res the NPCs.
Oh, I thought you.
that
Yeah, I
died.
thought you were talking about an NPC.
No, the player.
Whoops. Just us
A
being
player
toxic
died.
mentors over here, I guess.
Yeah. Fate over by Fort Drop.
One consonant away from being censored.
Wait, what?
Hand job.
I don't see why you're doing a manual labor with your hands would be censored.
Hmm.
Imagine.
Kai's over there literally doing the meme face.
Yep. I'm just holding my coffee cup with my foot. I'm that meme right now.
That is very dexterous. You got some very dexterous toes there.
Why, thank you. They're good for doing fort jobs. And full circle.
That was good. That was good.
Bravo.
That was good. I gotta give it
Bravo,
to you. That was
Kai.
good.
That was
That
good.
was funny.
Kai gives joke of the night.
Ah.
For now. There shall be other opportunities.
That is Drax is like already turning this into a competition and already wanting to win.
What point is there in doing anything if you're not winning? Remember, if you're not first, you're last.
Sometimes it's about the friends that you make
Oh
along
my
the
god.
way.
Yes.
Quote Talladega Nights here, please.
I can't see shit, Captain. I'm just doing quick knock and hoping I'm doing numbers.
That's all you gotta do. You only got 2 AoEs to work with, so.
There we go. Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm also playing
tree?
machinist to pretend that, you know, I'm doing something without really thinking about it.
Are you saying machinist is a brain dead class?
Is that what?
Is a brain dead class?
For fake grinding?
I literally have to zoom in to tell if there's 3 of you in my
Wait,
carriage.
are we saying that machinist is a high APM class?
Is a what?
Is a high APM class?
APM.
Actions
It's,
per minute.
it's a very
Oh.
easy class to play.
Oh. I don't know.
It's actually like, you know how I always want to have a lazy
How many
class?
times are we gonna have to do this one?
As
lot.
long as we're in Lakeland.
It spawns in
30.
between, like, every fate, I think.
I don't think that any classes necessarily has a rotation that is like quote unquote easy enough that you can no brain it.
Yeah, but some are more than others, especially in a casual setting, right?
Yeah, I mean if you just want to get like 10k damage out,
Oh, it's a
I feel
different
like
one.
probably Black Mage would be one of those.
Yeah, but
If you weren't,
Black Mage, I don't think it used to be like what I would call my lazy class back in the day.
Back in Rome Reborn.
Enochian
now
is
not
a
so
game
much.
changer. It is
Yeah.
not the same class after 60 as it is before.
Yeah, but again, obviously, I'm saying, here we're just doing fates. I'm not worried about my,
Right.
pulse.
I
Right?
mean, you could just be an
I
ice
feel
mage
like-
for fates, and you'd probably do okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
see,
honestly, I'm playing Dancer right now, and it's pretty brain dead strat right now. I'm just AoEing
Dancer is
everything.
pretty brain dead to play casually.
Yeah, I'm AoEing everything. So.
But the thing is that I play Dancer too often.
Ah.
So,
Yeah, fair.
Sometimes I like playing something that I don't play that often. But at the same time, I don't want to think about it. And Machinist is kind of feeling that place for me lately.
Yeah.
See, I'd like to say Bard is brain dead, except you gotta keep up a consistent buff.
If you
Yeah.
actually want to do damage.
And even then, you're just going to be disappointed with the results.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true.
You might as well just do fates and spam quick knock like this guy.
Yeah, but right now I'm like, I push a button, I push an OGCD button, and I don't have to really think about it.
Although I do have to say, like, Machinist opener in like high, like the rating environment is for the first 20 seconds is like the most convoluted rotation.
Really?
Yeah, like if you
I guess I've just been doing it for so long.
so my friend played it when we were Savage rating, and he had to get like I can't remember what he said, like 5 or 6 like
5.
certain attacks in, and like the cutoff was like less than a second for him to get his last one.
Yeah.
Could it be 6 if you have enough?
No. Because if you
Yeah,
have, you don't want to put skill speed on a machinist because then
You
you're
actually
screwing
wanna
up
have-
the whole rotation. You want to have,
Yeah.
you want to have basic GCD.
Yeah, so that's 5.
yeah,
It's 5 GCDs with 5 OGCDs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I had to learn was delaying my wildfire after the first heat blast, and not trying to do wildfire then heat blast, because then you're just wasting a GCD.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he actually like purposely tried to get rid of speed on his.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, again, that's why obviously I'm not speaking in a end game term, because I don't think Machinist is simple. I don't think any class is simple in a Savage context.
Yeah, there's a higher skill cap for pretty much everything. Like, yeah, you can be okay at
Yeah.
this job without a whole lot of effort, but like if you want to be competitive with that job, there's a lot more that you need to know.
I feel like there are certain
competitive,
classes I would never
But
bring
even
to
just like,
Savage though.
even if I'm not comparing myself to anyone, right? I'm not competing my numbers with anyone else. Even if I just want to clear the content, I would still need to reach a higher skill
Yeah.
Yeah.
in any class, really.
I would never, ever bring a black mage to end game content, or to like raid content.
No.
Like you wouldn't play one or you wouldn't want one.
I would never play one. The people who can
Yeah,
play
I
black
agree.
mage and do like amazing fucking numbers, I applaud them. They are my heroes. Cause
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It requires the raid to work with around the black mage instead of the black mage trying to work around the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one black mage that we had fill in for us that one time, Shion,
Yeah.
on our first clear, and they were pulling like 30, like they were doing like 60% of the DPS.
No,
On
and
their
that,
own?
but that guy was amazing because we also weren't exactly being like working around him necessarily.
Yeah, we hadn't built our
'Cause-
group around a black mage.
Yeah, but we weren't doing that, and he was still doing amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I have a lot of respect for those people because that's like so different classes have different like skill caps, I would say, right?
Black
To be
mage is
performing
definitely way up
well.
there.
Black
mean, I'm
Mage
gonna
is
be
definitely
honest.
Yeah,
way
yeah.
up there.
I would not play a ninja in Savage content. I would not do it.
It's an adventure, I will tell you that.
The amount of the APM on a ninja is the highest out of every single class by at least 12 buttons per minute.
Yeah, we have a lot to do.
Like Bard is pretty close, but there's a gap. Bard and Monk are pretty up there, but yeah.
I know Ninja and Stormblood. I was doing the Omega raids with Ninja.
No, you weren't.
No, not the Savage raids.
Oh,
Yeah, we're talking Savage, babe.
Oh, but even then, I wouldn't bring a Black Mage into normal raids either.
You did go as Ninja on Alexander Savage.
Yes.
A few times with us.
Yeah. And I also
I feel like if anything, I'd like to do Red Mage if I was to DPS. I feel like they have it's a complex like rotation, but it's very fluid.
yeah, honestly, and you have a lot of versatility. I made fun of a couple of the skills when I first saw them drop because I was still pretty casual on my Red Mage, but ever since I doubled down on trying content with Red Mage in the last, 6 or 7 months, I've really started to learn the value of them because you have spacers no matter what mechanics you're dealing with. You don't have to completely stop your rotation.
What do you mean by that?
So, for example,
Like, yes.
Red Mage being a caster, if you have to move to do certain mechanics, you're not doing any damage. Even with double cast, you need to sit still long enough to get off a jolt, which is like 2 seconds. Which
Right.
I know it's just 2 seconds, but 2 seconds is life or death in
Yeah.
some situations. But for 5 mana, you can just throw out a ranged attack that can hit for 20, 30k just while you're moving as a spacer before you go back to casting.
Yeah, so
that's what that's for.
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
slide casting. It allows you to continue casting while, and after your rotation, I think it's what's the one that basically procs it through time. It's like not mana.
That procs what?
It procs 3 of your
Acceleration.
Yes.
Accelerate.
Yep.
Those are key in slide casting. You need to get around mechanics and
See,
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
not what I think about when I think about slide casting. That's weird.
Because what we think about slide casting is the latency between the cast bar finishing and
And when the spell goes off, you can move before the cast bar is done. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can do that
it's
too.
It's kind of the same thing because what you're doing is you're getting off a cast, and while the GCD is ticking, you're moving. So it looks so you're doing the animation while you're moving, so you're sliding. So it's the same. It's the same concept, but you're just waiting.
Okay.
And if you can get okay with slide casting, you could slide cast on your initial cast. You have an instant second cast, and then you can throw in an OGCD while you're still moving. So you can cover a lot of ground on the end of a 2-second cast.
Yep.
That's why the classes set aren't mobile.
I feel like
Learning how the
as
slide cast
someone-
is,
It's a process.
it's
As someone who
basically
started-
necessary as Black Mage.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
No, that's fine. As someone who started playing on a PS3 and on a different country, and so I had a very high latency.
Yep.
Slide casting was how I learned to play the game.
Yeah,
Because otherwise I would not be able to be any sort of caster whatsoever.
that's how I started out just with New
Seriously, though.
England internet, so I feel your pain a little bit.
Yeah. Because I was not only on the PS3, which already had like a built-in latency, regardless of my internet speed. I also had an internet speed of like, I paid for 10 megabytes, I had like 5. Maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, gee, I wonder how that feels.
Yeah, that's yeah. I pay for 60 and I have 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we first got our internet here. We were on Bright House first, right? And you know the reputation Bright House has. I caught them for like 2 weeks in a row at 10 o'clock at night because I was paying for like 40 megabytes per second. At the
Oh yeah,
time.
they were throttling you, and they finally stopped doing it because you annoyed the piss out of them.
Yeah, and I proved to them that I knew what the fuck I was doing because I've been doing IT work for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
I go through the same process with my ISP like every month. I'm not even joking.
Like they eventually, whenever I called them, after a while, it was just like, you know, they wouldn't even go through their script. They just tell me, they just listen to what I had to say, and they'd fucking fix it.
Yep.
They wouldn't tell me that they were throttling it, but I called them out on it outright. I'm like, look, I'm paying for 40 megabytes per second at 10 o'clock every fucking night for the last week because I've been doing speed tests, I've noticed my connection gets throttled down to like 20 megabytes per second. Now you tell me, if I'm paying for something and I'm not getting that something, I don't have to pay the price that you're asking for that something. And that's eventually how I got them to agree, is like, I'm not paying this bill unless you give me what I'm paying for. And it's in a contract, whether it's a signed contract that they have that and whatnot between you and them. The fact that you're paying them, it's a contract at all anyway. And that's the thing that they, that's something that people need to learn how to use against ISPs, is that they sign a contract stating they'll give you this product or X product. If they're not giving it to you, then you don't have to fucking pay it.
The problem is that the contract's usually up to. That's
Yep.
what you have to look at.
Yeah, like mine
They're
is
not
speeds
saying
up
we're
to
gonna
60.
give you because mine is 100 megabits per second, but I'm definitely not getting it. I'm getting like 30. And I know that as soon as I call them, they're going to be like, well, it says up to, and
Yep.
your area can only hold a maximum capacity of like 50 something.
Then don't charge me for the up to, charge me for what you can provide. Otherwise, it's false advertising.
Oh.
It's a contract that you didn't read, though. That's
Unfortunately.
it's the that's why they call it the, like, I don't know what they call it in English, like the small letters.
Oh, the fine print.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those
Because
cases
people
that you're
don't
not going to
read
win if you
contracts,
were
and that's
to.
how they get away with shit like that.
If you were to like
Brazil has a
try
lot
to
of
take
that
them to
problem.
claims court.
Because there's
Yeah, you're
actually
not
like
gonna win it.
there's I don't know how it is now, if it changed anything, but like I remember having that problem in Brazil, and I spoke to my sister-in-law who's a lawyer, and she said, yeah, the problem is you don't actually read the contract, and so they're going to use the contract against you because no one reads it, and so they put all these things there that's like, yeah, you're not like, they're not actually obligated to provide you the full speed at all times, and blah 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of shit in the contract.
Yeah, peak hours have take effect into that as well. I mean, realistically, for my area, I'm probably getting about as best as they can do.
Yeah.
Like, when I look at the average speed of what everybody else is getting, it's the same. So, and it doesn't fluctuate. So, I mean, like, I'm not bottoming out at like 10 at night for like 10 megabits or something like that. But I definitely don't live in the city, so I don't expect to get like 40 and stuff like
but I would expect, if anything, you should get lag and latency during peak hours. But since this was off-peak hours,
yeah.
What they're doing, the strategy that they're doing is they're funneling bandwidth away from a connection that they believe isn't being used at that time, so that they can funnel it to other customers that would be using it
During that time, yeah.
Because all ISPs oversell their bandwidth.
Yep.
They never actually have enough bandwidth to supply all their customers.
It's like how
Ever.
Airlines will oversell their tickets because they expect cancellations.
Yep. And then if you get double booked, well, it's whoever pays the higher price.
Or in the case of ISPs,
Northeast.
it's business customers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Well, that's a nice, funny game.
that was something that was, the whole throttling, and contract obligation and all that stuff. That was something that did protect us under the FCC's old rules before, Ajit Pai and his bullshit.
The good old FCC.
Everybody's favorite entity.
Almost as hated as the IRS.
I was just thinking that. It's one of those acronyms,
Yeah.
See,
But
the
it's
funny
like they
thing is
also-
that I've never run into bad problems with the IRS, but that's because I'm not a tax dodger.
Yeah.
we had a weird problem with the IRS a couple years ago. So because I was still going through the immigration process, I didn't actually have a social, right? But we were filing as, married.
Mm-hmm.
And so my name had to be included, even though I didn't actually owe any taxes because I also didn't have any job or anything like that, right?
Uh-huh.
But I still had to be in the taxes as his wife.
Yeah.
But because I didn't have a social, like the program doesn't have like a way for me to say that I don't have a social.
Yeah, we have a
So
lot of things in this country set up that way.
Which is weird because it should be more a common issue that people won't have a social in their taxes, you know?
Yeah, well,
usually
In
you
a country
can't.
that has so much
Usually,
immigration, but
yeah. Usually you can't file taxes unless you have a social and get a W-2, which has your social on it. Like that's the only like kind of caveat is what you just explained. Is like if you're married.
yeah, but
'Cause
that
then you have to
caveat is
file.
actually fairly common here, so you would expect more people to
yeah.
be prepared for that. But anyway, so because of that, we could like do all the math and stuff on the program, but when it came time to actually
File it.
send it in, we had to do it by mail because we couldn't do it in the program because it kept giving us an error because of my lack of social, right? So
Right.
I would prepare everything, print it, and then we would just sign it by hand and send it on the mail. So that meant that once it got there, it was someone's job to type that into a system, right? Well, apparently one year, the person whose job was to do that,
Didn't do it.
instead of putting it like whatever, I think it was what we were owed back as a return, was actually put in as if it was a 1099.
No, what wound up
It
happening?
was something like that.
What wound up happening is what I had put, what it was in the taxes paid slot, right? What I'd automatically done withdrawals for my taxes paid throughout
Oh,
the
right.
year. They swapped that with taxes owed.
Oh.
Yeah, so they were like, I got a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, you owe us about $3,500." I was like, "The fuck I do."
You owe me, no, you owe me 3,500.
Yay! Let's get right here.
So I called, and the first girl I got was this very young girl at the according to her, from what I can pick up from her voice, and she told me that I had to resubmit the whole thing, right? I'm like, okay, this sounds like bullshit because it's like literally a week before everything is done, right, or due. So I called back again the next day, got this, much older lady, and she was very sweet and very understanding. And because I went back and I looked at the document that I had sent in because I had it saved. Thankfully, I had it TurboTax
Okay,
saved it.
let's go back. I went back and I looked at the document because I had it saved because I'm the one that does it.
But TurboTax had it saved, and that's what I looked at. And then I found out that wait, this number that they're quoting is, in the wrong is in the wrong spot, right? This doesn't make sense. So, thankfully, I told this to the older lady, and I told her, hey, this is this block, this is what it's, this is the number that I was given in the letter, but this is the number that's in the block for taxes paid. And she was very, I guess they've had this situation a lot, and she's just like, and when I told her that I was instructed that I would have to resend everything in, and she's like, wait, why would you have to do that? That was our mistake, not yours. And she fixed it on the spot.
Boom.
2 weeks later, I get my tax return.
All right. Well, this does have a happy ending. Okay, then.
Oh, if it just didn't have a happy ending, we would not be here. We would be under a bridge somewhere.
Or in jail for murdering the SOBs responsible, if I know you two.
That too.
I mean, I keep telling everybody, and I don't know if anybody believes me or not, but I am accurate with a M4 at 300 meters without a scope.
You say that, but how long ago was that?
It's like riding a bike.
It's like riding a bike. Only takes a couple bodies to get back into practice.
Oh, man. How do you ride your bikes? That's what I want to know.
Aggressively.
Without hands.
When I used to work for a credit card company that I legally can't name on a live stream, we had tons and tons of issues with applicants for either primary cards or as authorized users because we have to have a social for them. and the system that we had in place wouldn't even let you complete the application process if you didn't put anything in the social field. There was no like, you couldn't cheese it and put something else there. It was a hard stop. You're not going any further.
So this whole thing is weird, right? Because like before I even came here, like when Draxus was renting this apartment, because he knew I would be coming here eventually, he even asked them like, hey, so like, you know, my fiance is coming here and, you know, she's going to go through the immigration process. She's not going to have a social right away. Is there going to be a problem to add her to the lease? And they were like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, okay. So I got here, we went there to put my name on the lease. And you can't because I didn't have a social. And I'm like, but we've talked about this. I'm like, well, but, and you know, what I do have, because I have a ongoing process, is I have a alien number, which is what the immigration gives you.
Yeah, because that's
right?
not at all dehumanizing, but continue.
No, absolutely not. I love being called an alien. So, but they say, you know, what they tell you is that will replace a social until you have a social.
I feel like that's
You
not true.
have such a family history with it. I'm sorry.
Oh, God, okay, don't. Please don't. Oh, my God.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Oh, I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Anyway.
That's it. I know Saren since she's like 13 or 12. So I know
10,
some family
actually.
histories of her.
Oh.
Yeah.
More like 10. But yeah,
It's
anyway.
actually really, really funny.
It's actually really funny. I don't know actually mind sharing it. It's just embarrassing. But no, so that's supposed to replace your social until you can get a social, which is basically until they authorize you to get a social, right?
Sure.
But it turns out that those numbers don't actually match. Like it's not the same number of numbers.
No, it is not.
Right.
And doesn't it start with a letter?
Yes, it starts with a letter. So
Yep.
they say that, you know, yeah, but you should be able to do things where you would normally need a social for.
No, because
With
anything
this
that's digital
number.
is not set up to accommodate that. Our system doesn't work that way.
Which is why I'm saying it's weird, because there's so many immigrants in America. The immigration process takes so fucking long
Mm-hmm.
that you would expect more systems to adapt to that.
You'd expect a lot of things to, like, not only work better, but, like, actually work, but we don't.
I gotta
I don't
say,
expect it at all. It's
I gotta-
exactly what I imagine would happen.
Yeah.
Like, I've done some software industry stuff. I know how bad it is. Just endless amounts of Java spaghetti code that doesn't work correctly.
Yeah, and there's a flat number of spaces on any electronic form. It's 9 characters. Put in your social, and you go, I don't have 9 characters. I have 11 and a letter. And they go, well, no, you can't. Anything. It's not happening.
does not compute. Error.
Yeah.
Error. Zzz.
So the only things that I was actually able to do while I still didn't have a social was when Draxus was still in the reserve, I had a ID card that said military spouse on it, which served as a photo ID, at least,
Yeah, so she can buy cigarettes with it.
basically. And eventually they let you put me in your health insurance
Yeah.
without a social.
Well, no. Once I got your social, I was able to add you to health insurance.
No, I was added on the health insurance before that. Because we use the health insurance information on the immigration process.
There is a period of time in which you don't have to apply or have a social for somebody who's on your plan as a dependent.
Yeah. Because for the first couple years you were here, I couldn't put, or like the first year, I couldn't put you on because they required a social.
Right, but at some point they let you, and I remember that because we sent the health insurance things. It was with us in the interview.
Didn't they assign you a social before the
No.
process was over?
No. No, remember the day I got my social was the day I
I-
almost broke my foot.
I
Remember
thought
that
you
day?
got, no, I thought you got this. I know that, but I thought you got the social when you got your workers authorization.
No, the worker's authorization came with the alien number.
But that
Alien
was like
number.
that was like 2 months. No, your alien number
No,
came.
that's what it was. They accepted the
Oh
alien
my
number. That's what it
goodness.
was. They accepted the alien number, so you were able to put me on the health insurance with the alien number.
Yeah, some places have a better time with that. So, like, I work for, obviously, insurance now, and we have an either-or system. I think we refer to it as a taxpayer ID. So it can be either an immigrant number or an SSN. Either one is fine. And I really feel like just more places should do that.
Yeah. It would have made my life a lot easier for the 3 years that I was waiting for them to decide something about me.
Yes, but that
Yeah.
would mean hiring someone that understands Java 4.
And then
can't
paying
wait.
them more than peanuts, which is the real
I
crux
can't
of
wait
the
until
issue.
Java is just destroyed the planet.
I mean, Flash is finally going away in like 3 weeks. Are you ready to watch its fall?
Yeah.
Java's going away.
No,
Like chocolate.
Flash.
Flash is going away.
Flash.
Yeah, like Flash Player. All those websites that you have to update Flash. Nope.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and then a lot of companies are stopping not using Java anymore.
Yeah.
Because Java is requiring you to pay a subscription to get their updates.
Yeah.
Yep. I welcome
know
this
what's gonna happen
because
in-
Python and Flask is awesome.
Let's take a failing fucking system and then make people pay a premium for it.
Well,
I know.
that's one way to accelerate growth is just get people so disgusted with it they develop their own out of spite.
That's,
I mean,
that's
isn't that what happened
in
with
a
Linux?
nutshell. With what?
Isn't that what happened with Linux? People developed the GUI for Linux out of spite.
That sounds
Hey,
plausible.
Market, Grand, Lakeland.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
things went
Market.
with GNOME development.
No, you need to have all the shared fates completed.
It's not just maxed out in Lakeland.
No.
No.
What barding you were trying to
It
get?
can only be so long.
The dancer barding.
Oh yeah,
No,
that's
no,
all
no,
of
no,
them.
No, no,
Oh,
no, 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 no. The
If you're
Shadowbringers
going for
part.
Deep Shadow, that's just Lakeland, but
Oh, then you should be able to get. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the dancer one.
No,
the Dancer one's
Don't say
neat,
no
but
like that.
don't want the dancer.
I have to say it like that. But no, so that's weird because in Brazil.
Ah, Chocolate save me!
So I guess again back on the taxes thing. All the we don't have third-party programs where you do your taxes on. Everything is actual programs. It's actually government apps that you use, right?
yeah.
That must be nice.
It actually is because it goes straight through. So you don't really have if you have an issue with the program, it's their fault.
Yeah, I know.
Express
That
facilitate a
wasn't
lot of things.
sarcastic. This is nice. That was like, that must be really, really nice.
Yeah.
Ah,
But they all run on Java though.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
Take it out to fix that.
Java is everywhere.
Remember
so
when
I'm just
07
wondering what
Scape
they're
ran on
doing now.
Java?
Mm-hmm. That was high end back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, you're talking about the little RuneScape
Yeah, when
game?
RuneScape ran out of a browser.
Yeah.
Web Java.
Ugh. Adventure Quest.
So,
Wait, I literally just need 3 more fates here.
that's fine.
Okay.
By the way,
I didn't want to
this-
talk over anybody to ask that question, so I put it in chat.
This,
And then I talked over everyone.
I was gonna say this deep shadow barding looks so good on my chocobo because of the black feathers.
Gotta
I got
look.
it.
It's
I got
Chocobo Glam. I gotta look at it.
I'm
He's
right in front of you.
nice.
Ooh, that looks awesome.
With the black feathers, right?
I dig it.
Yeah.
Bye bye machine is barding. Hello deep
Switch to
shadow.
your Dark Knight.
Bye.
Oh,
We'll see it when he
I
catches
can kind
up.
of see it. It looks pretty cool.
He's just a black speck on the horizon.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I hold the thumbstick
I am the
forward
knight.
to fly, the carriage is really wiggly on my screen. So I have to turn on auto walk or it drives me nuts.
Oh, is that
That's a-
Nestering Fate right
that's a
there?
B
Or
rank.
boss mob?
That was a
Ooh.
B rank.
Arr.
That's a B rank back here. It's a paddle pole.
Oh, I thought that was an...
We can have a look when we kill the trees.
Trying.
Nobody's even low on
Alright.
health on my screen.
Let's treat this like the Amazon rainforest, shall we?
Well, okay.
I feel like there's a too soon to be said there, but I thought it was funny, so also, you know.
Too soon is when our planet's on fire.
Well, you can't
Yeah,
even
it's
say
like-
too soon because it's still going on.
Yeah, because all the all the old capitalists that haven't refused to die are too stubborn to relinquish their hold on their money.
So, I'm not actually serious when I ask this question, but, like, is Australia still there? Because it was on fire for a long time.
I mean, it's doing better than California, technically.
Oof.
Yeah, you get
Big
that
oof.
problem in California.
We probably have enough to finish this fate right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hands down. Doink.
Oh, this is a turn-in thing? Oh, I thought we just had the kill thing.
That's why I figured I was like, I should announce that we probably have enough stuff now. It's a wetland warg.
Why are they
The
still
trends
attacking
are everywhere.
Buraru. Break the dam! Release the river!
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Have you ever played Lego Lord of the Rings?
No.
No.
I am not a huge fan of the Lego games, but I actually love that one. I have it on Steam. And
Wait, no, yes I did. Yes I did.
You
okay.
have it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, there's an item that you can pick up where when you wield it, it starts playing this weird disco techno mix thing, and the Ents are in the background saying "Release the dam, break the dam, release the river," and it's kind of epic. It gets stuck in my head.
I don't remember that.
I wasn't able to turn in because they wouldn't stop attacking me.
Oh, rip.
Oh, sad.
We were gonna have a
Oh,
look
you're
at
maxed out, so.
a mob, right? 1, 2. I literally have to zoom in to see if there are 3 people in this carriage. There we go. Now, where was that mob? Over here somewhere?
It's only a B rank,
that
right?
thing. Yeah, that's a B rank. B ranks I know because they're blue. It's the A's and the S's where I'm like,
Maybe?
c'est possible?
Oh, so Kai, you want to hear my my leveling roulette adventure today?
Ooh.
Oh boy, sure. I mean, I was with you for 50, 60, and even that was just...
It was worse. It was a lot worse.
Yeah. So the one that we had problem with was, what was it? That was that 50? That wasn't that 50-60 one, was it?
Yeah, that was Drowned Temple. And
Oh,
it only went
Oh.
sideways on the last, like, 3 trash pulls.
Was it that one or was it the level 80 one that we're doing that got?
Oh, Amarat also had a lot of issues
yeah,
in the last couple of
Amarat,
trash
that's the one I
pulls.
was thinking of today. That one was like, oh my god, what
The
the
healer
hell?
just, like,
Oh,
stopped healing. It's like,
But I had
why am I
calmed in
recuring?
on Crash.
Your leveling was definitely worse, though.
Yeah, my leveling was fucking garbage. I told Shion
Ooh.
a little bit of it in FC.
Oh,
So-
come on, I need
So
one
what
more.
happened?
We
Yes,
had a
what's
brand new
wrong?
healer.
He
We
was
had a brand new
full
healer.
80?
Yeah, full level 80, still green leaf, and had fully crafted,
510.
high quality level 80 gear.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah,
you probably just bought it on the market board, is the
Right?
510s.
And they also had the first slots of materia filled in.
Okay, so, like, they're not hurting for gear, clearly.
No,
What
but
they
we wiped on
skill?
they didn't know shit about mechanics, right? They didn't
That
know.
doesn't
Hey, red
surprise
is
me.
bad, right?
No,
So,
but like basic things like, you know, a stack marker.
like I
and
said, they
dodge
didn't know
AoE,
red is bad.
And like dodge two-way, they literally said something like, well, when you have to dodge 2 things, it's too hard. Is it though?
Yeah, so they died. The healer died, like caused a wipe 4 times on the first boss of Malik as well.
Holy... Oh, that was the one that was spamming Cure 2 on their white mage.
Yes. That's
Oh.
what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm glad I
Oh,
wasn't
man.
there for that.
Like, yeah, they just died to the rocks falling over and over and over. And thankfully, the DPS were
How?
like they had the patience of a god.
Yeah.
I
This
was
is why-
expecting at least one of them to stop to quit. They couldn't. I started giving them rundowns of the bosses after that one,
Yeah.
and the second boss they died on the first spin.
Oh, the armadillo dude.
No. The second boss they died to the first spin.
That's
Which
teeny
one's the
mechanic.
That's the
Oh, the
Spinning
golem.
mechanic.
yeah the.
I was
golem
trying to
with the
remember
bucket
which
on top.
boss came after armadillo.
Yeah.
That's Bucket Man.
So they died to the first spin, and we had to wipe because I can only take one face to the face.
Yep.
Well, I could take two, but then I'm dead.
Also, real quick, it is fucking hilarious to me that it's an aquatic Talos because it has a bucket on its head. Anyway,
Yes.
continue.
I think Rain says when you go in, like, is that a bucket?
Yes. And Thancred's like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. So I told them the mechanics. I'm like, look, he's gonna he's gonna push everybody away from him into the wall, and what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to get up into his hitbox, and you're gonna need to stay on his ass. Right? That's exactly what I said.
Yep.
And they died on the first spin.
Yep, that sounds right.
And then one of the DPS is just like, look, just stay with us,
Hey.
follow us. And we only wiped it once. All right, so Saren's done here now as well.
I'm
And then
gonna
we get to the
bark.
final boss, and we almost wiped, but didn't because even though I'm just like, look, there's a lot of movement here, a lot of really heavy hitting AoE attacks. The good news is there's no tank bust that you need to watch out for. Kaim only needs 9. Okay, that's fine.
Rank 3
So I
anyways.
just put a marker on our bard and like, look, just follow them around. And the bard's like, yeah, that's perfectly fine, right? And they would sit there and they would refuse to interrupt their cast to follow the bard.
What are you, a red mage?
No, it was a fucking white mage casting glare.
No, I mean, I get you, but like, there are times where I won't interrupt my cast because it's 2 seconds long, and I'm like, you know what? If I get hit, I get hit. But
I mean, I don't see a problem. He was doing maximum DPS.
Not when he's dead.
Yeah, they really weren't because I did not see a single lily going off at any point.
No, I saw them use lilies on themselves.
what?
I
It's
didn't-
like that
I didn't
dorkly
see
bit
that.
sketch where White
I
Mage is a
saw
jerk.
a lot of Cure 2 going your way, which was what was depressing me.
Why would anybody use Cure 2 and like, well, gross.
If I have to
DPS
use Cure 2,
Yeah.
something's wrong, basically, at this point.
It's a
the
trap.
only time that I do understand is when it's still like if your tank needs healing before 30 seconds have passed, I guess.
But
Maybe
the
you're
I
gonna
mean,
use a cure
even
too
then-
because you don't have a lily
But
yet.
if your Benson, or however the hell you say that, and regen aren't going to fill that gap for your next Lily,
So
maybe your tank's not using enough cooldowns, is all I'm
You
saying.
still have Tetragramation, you still have your shield, and you still have Benny, which you shouldn't be holding. There's no reason to hold that.
They weren't using anything except for Cure 2 as a heal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's
used
correct.
Divine Venison.
They were using Medica 2 as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
So they
lord.
used Divine Venison on
Divine Venison.
the second boss because I told him, look, this guy's tank buster hits like a fucking truck. You're gonna want to put a Divine Venison on me to help out.
To soak that.
And they were putting the Divine Venison on before the boss even started casting its tank buster. So like a good 5-10 seconds left before, and like most of the time it would fall off before the boss even hit.
I always feel really bad when I miss time casting the shield because, like, I'm not as familiar with White Mage. So I'll throw it out there and then it will fall off and I'll go, ah, crap, that's my bad. Alright, you get a Lily, I guess.
I mean, I did the one thing that I've been doing wrong sometimes, and it's Rex's fault.
What?
No, it is kind of, but like, cause I got used to healing his Dark Knight, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I got used to not putting a shield on him during tank busters
'Cause
he doesn't
TBN.
need it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna stop wasting this.
Well,
I'm just gonna keep glaring. Okay.
Well, I think it
So-
needs TBN first.
I mean, it's difficult to say that you should be holding your Divine Benison for a tank buster because regardless, as long as it is absorbing damage, it's doing its job.
I use it as a spacer between lilies, honestly.
Yeah. It's an
Shield-
OGCD. You shouldn't be
Shield
holding.
plus regen can sometimes top them off during its duration, especially if they're using any kind of mitigation.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good when it absorbs a tank buster.
Yeah,
But I mean,
for sure.
realistically, as long as it absorbs its full amount of shielding, it did its job, and then you just have to use something else.
Right. But
Yeah.
the thing is that I also don't trust tanks in general, right?
To use their mitigation for a buster.
Yes. So
I
I
could
prefer.
get that.
Yeah.
I prefer to have the shield available. But for a while there, I was too used to just doing stuff with Drax the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And so I stopped doing that because he doesn't need it for a tank buster, right?
And then it only takes a little while before you get that tank who doesn't use any mitigation and dies to the first buster, and you go, oh.
Yeah, and then when I have to use a benediction because of a tank buster, I'm like, oh, okay. I have to remember that, you know, this is actual life.
Tank, TBN is just the reverse Uno card of tank busters. To be honest.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
I love using, God, the word's not coming to me now, but vengeance or whatever for warrior. They're like, I'm gonna tank buster you, and you're like, I'm gonna tank buster you back for 30% of the damage you just did or whatever.
Wait, it works on tank busters?
Yeah.
Oh, shit,
Yeah, it
I'm
works for
doing
all
that
damage.
All damage.
wrong. I've just been doing raw intuition,
Raw intuition's really good.
and I've just been using vengeance as like one of my in between cooldowns.
Vengeance is fantastic for big trash pulls because it's basically a DPS buff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
11
that's the
kilogram.
thing that people say of like, you know, that's the skill where like I just that and Nascent Flash, right?
Yeah.
It's I heal myself out of anger.
Warriors have one of the best trash pulls in the game right now between Nascent Flash and Vengeance.
Sarah needs a healer.
What area?
I really enjoy Equilibrium Strike. I think that's what it's called for a warrior.
Oh,
Equilibrium is a thing.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about something else, or just like
No, I think it's Equilibrium. It's the thing that basically like
It's
heals.
just a heal. Yeah, it's just a raw heal.
it?
I
Yep,
just love it.
it's an OGCD. I think potency 600 cure,
1200 actually.
1200.
It does a lot.
Yeah,
It just somebody else just goes,
It's like
Yeah.
30k on me, which is really nice.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yep.
I usually use that with conjunction with, just like, oh, tank buster, raw intuition, and equilibrium.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, the cure potency on a paladin's heal, I believe, is roughly the same.
Yeah, and they can just cast theirs. It's not a 60-second cooldown. Ours just is free.
And it can crit.
Plus, their potency of that heal gets increased when you have Requiem stat up.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's a question then.
It becomes
What's more of a DPS loss? Is the tank not the tank using clemency on himself so the white mage can glare, or the glare or the white mage healing the tank so the tank can keep doing his
So-
thing?
I don't want to say
Uh,
this because I don't want to instill that bad behavior, but the glare mage, if they're decently geared, is gonna do more damage than the paladin,
so.
unfortunately.
Let's be 100% like in a high end environment. There should be no time in which a tank needs to clemency themselves. The healer should be weaving in their heals while glaring when necessary.
Right.
Like
but
a paladin's
but-
main rotation, like using the Requiscat to get out their holies and whatever the frig paladins do, and then their big ass thing at the end. That's if you mess that up because they have to clemency themselves, that's a big loss for them.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sure. But I'm saying in a hypothetical scenario, right? Like, which one is doing more damage, the glare or the paladin?
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's,
wouldn't be honest. They both do roughly about the same amount of damage. Like as a paladin, I pull about 12 to 13 damage, and same thing on my white mage.
yeah. If the clemency has to be cast anywhere other than the spot where Confiteor goes, it's probably a wash, but if you lose Confiteor to an emergency clemency on yourself, that is a much bigger loss.
Feels bad.
Oh yeah. Now
Yeah.
I'm still arguing that Confiteor should just be integrated into your
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Just
And
like
not take up another slot in the hot
Yeah.
bar. Yeah.
just like I think NP should be slotted, should also take over the slot for your disengage on Samurai. Because you're gonna automatically hit NP after you disengage anyway. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Not necessarily, because if you use
was gonna
NP,
say.
it interrupts your combo.
Yeah, and if you're on like
Yeah.
the third hit in your combo, it feels bad. That and
Well,
you
don't
wouldn't be
have
able
hit
to
it.
you wouldn't be able to
You don't
hard
have
cast it as a filler either if it was sharing a button.
I'm just saying you wouldn't have to hit it though. I'm talking about the MP. That's an option there. It's just that it would be
True.
easier than having to change hotbars or hit an extra fucking button when you could just rapid fire the same button twice
Mm.
if
Yeah.
you wanted to use it. That's
So
why
are
I
you
think
saying-
Warrior
are you
has like the best hotbar balance out of the tanks.
Are you saying that you want to have the Holy Light button just get replaced by Confiteor after? Is it do you want to do it after 4 casts? Like, how would that play out?
Yeah, like when you're at the point where you would use Confiteor, like when you're down to your last 2k MP.
So you're just saying after 4 casts of Holy Light, it would just swap over.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
when you pop Requiscat or whatever, you'd get 5 stacks of like a buff, or 4 stacks rather, and then when all the stacks fall off, both your Holy Spirit and your whatever the AoE one is would both just turn into Confiteor on your bar.
Kind of
Yeah.
like their flare and their,
Yeah.
their
Verholy.
their holy.
Or not
yeah.
Verflare and Verholy.
Yeah, Verflare and Verholy off from Verthunder and
And
Arrow.
Scorch.
Yeah, Scorch just
Yeah, that
replaces
would
your
work really well.
That
impact.
that would be kind of broken. You could do some crazy stuff if you got stacks and stuff. That'd be nice.
Well, I mean,
How
even
do
if the
you do
stacks
a
didn't
lot-
do anything, even if they were just there to power the hotbar mechanic, you know?
Yeah.
I keep
It's just there
mounting
to
my MRO.
mitigate all the hotbar bloat, which is a problem. My main problem with Paladin.
Yeah, because I don't know about like keyboard stuff, but like for controller, a lot of classes are getting to a point where it's like getting hard to manage the hotbar.
I
Which is
will.
something that we saw, and then they removed a lot of abilities.
I was
which
gonna
is-
say when Stormblood launched, I was actually able to knock down several of my jobs to just 2 hotbars, 2 cross hotbars, where I was at 3 with Ninja, Paladin, and I think Dragoon when Stormblood
Yeah.
dropped. So
Dragoon was insane.
I didn't play those classes back then, so I don't know.
Shit, Dragoon had such a long buff opening.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Dragoon was such a slow burn to get max DPS. It was unpleasant to play, which was my main problem on Monk for the longest time. Is it's such a long burn to get your damage, you know?
Ninja, you had to develop a certain comfort with hitting the R1 spam. You'd do a certain combination action, and then you'd go R1 to do the follow-up, and then R1 to cycle back to the start bar. You just have to get really, really familiar with that, because you had 3 freaking hot bars back in the day.
When I was playing on a controller, I had all of my available buttons to macro. What it would do is I would hit a button, it would macro it to the next bar. So I'd continually just hit the same button.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is.
Oh, that's clever.
But it took a lot of time, and realistically, you shouldn't have to do that. It should just do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there should just, in a lot of games, there's like a combo system where you can choose what macros into what.
Yeah.
And I feel like this would be a game that would be very useful for. A lot of people play with controller.
Well, it's like what they do with
Oh,
PvP, where certain...
Wouldn't that eliminate the improvisation that you sometimes may have to do?
Well, depending on the job that you're doing.
Do that. But in a lot of those macros, it's very straightforward. Like you're not going to do anything. So
It's like I'm
Unless-
never going to use Gus Slash outside of like the combination
Right.
attack, you know?
yeah,
It's not going to happen. There's never a time where that's an action that I'm going to use any other way. So some jobs definitely wouldn't get much benefit out of that because you need to be kind of fluid with your cast order and stuff. But there are definitely some jobs where it's like, there are certain abilities that are only ever going to be used in conjunction with certain other ones. And it's like they did it with PvP actions where one button does your whole combo.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Monk though, because
Yep.
before and now, where like before maybe it would make more sense because in the beginning you did have to do everything in always the same order, right?
Yeah, but your positionals
And
are so
now-
important that you're going to need those as separate abilities.
And not only that, but now because you have a formula shift,
Yep.
Yeah, they swap into different functions. Like you can break off the different combos.
yeah, you can break off the mid
You
rotation.
can still.
So
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you. But you can still macro that. That's still doable. It'd make your bar kind of like how your bar would swap would be sometimes if you were like 3 gauges or like 3 forms into a rotation and you need to swap back to, let's say, AoE, it would swap your bar back to 1 instead of going to 2 or that. It's
yeah,
doing
but that's the thing though. I may have to swap it back to 2 because I need twin snakes up.
Well, there should be a button on that third bar that will get you over to, like, there'd be like different highlights that you could hit. Like one would go one way, one would go the other, and depending on which one you pick, go to whichever bar you.
I'm not going to lie, you both lost me, but I'm happy for you.
I got kind of lost with that explanation too, but okay. I believe you.
It's kind of like gosh, what's a non-monk thing that I explain how skill divergent. I'm trying to think of another class that has skills that diverge like that.
Ninja used to with
I mean,
our
don't
bleed.
ninjas do still though, because you may be doing the armor crush in the end instead of the...
Yeah, I mean, you're either going to do edge or crush, depending on what you need.
Yeah.
Oh, so if Dragoon would be a good example. So
Oh, yeah.
Dragoon starts with whatever thrust it's called, initial thrust. And then you can break apart to either the one that goes into your dot or the one that goes into your full thrust, which is your highest potent. So your first bar would hit that button. It'd swap over to the second bar, and there'll be the second ability for your dot or the second ability for your full thrust. You'd hit one of those, and then depending on what that is, would transition to the third or the first bar, depending on where you put it, where you would apply either the dot or the full thrust, which your second option was. It's just a flow chart of.
I get what you mean, I think.
Instead of using like the R1 and R2 and that stuff to navigate through your bars.
I mean, I'm very used to hitting the R1 or R2. And I even, like, to a certain extent, got used to, because I use the extended hotbar of, like, L2 plus R2.
Yes,
I was going to say, I really should look into that.
I do, so what I have in those is usually just, like, sprint, teleport, limit break. Like, some of them have mounts and chocobo. Sometimes I have, like, crystal rings on some of them when I was leveling, right? And when I was raiding, I did put my pod for Dancer there because I feel like I was hitting it faster than hitting just R2 to switch bars.
That's true, and then you don't hit it by accident too. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then I didn't hit it by accident. Yeah, that was kind of the thing. So, but on some, so that's fine. But like, Paladin and Samurai were the two that I saw that I cannot fit everything without, at the very least, using that extended hotbar, which I'm not used to having to do that for an action, right? So
Right.
you said something kind of made sense, which is like I keep Shirk there because of like
Yeah.
keeping Shirk on a separate hotbar because you're barely gonna use it.
Yep. Like,
Which I
quick-
guess you could also leave Tank Stance there, I guess, because you also like you.
yeah, you're just going to have it
you're only
on
hitting it
once.
Quick
Yeah.
interlude. I know. I hope I use that word correctly. I know. I still need fates here, but I think we're done. We can probably hop somewhere else if we have 2 people that are maxed.
Skip, I
Ryan
think
done?
KM was close.
Yeah, we were
I'm
just.
almost there. I'm 57 out of 60.
Okay, three more then.
Maybe 3 more.
Yeah.
How about Rectica next?
Okay.
Works for me.
Since I don't think anybody's maxed there except.
Lahi?
I have a significant amount.
Lahi?
It is
Why
my
am I
lowest
drawing a rectangle?
progressed right now.
Oh, my lowest is Kalusia, which I have 2 out of 60.
The one, like, Kalusia and Amarang, just for personal reasons, are the most, like, awful for me to grind because they're split into low and high level zones, which I don't like.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
like that
yeah.
either. If
That-
you're using
they're
it
just-
for leveling, it sucks.
And they're both just kind of poopy looking, in my humble opinion. Like, they're not nice looking zones.
Yeah.
So I don't like how Armorang looks, but I very much enjoyed.
The music.
Probably one of the best to my.
I do love the music. It is really good.
It's very relaxing.
I'm trying to. That's what I'm getting bicolor gems for, so I can buy the orchestrion rolls for him from my house.
Cool.
Although I'm not a big fan of Rectica though, because I don't like the swampy look.
I
Well,
wouldn't
you
say
have
it's my
the look and you
favorite.
have the foresty look.
Yeah, I like the flowery look, but I agree with you for the swampy look.
Yeah, the swampy bit's kind of eh.
Yeah.
Even the swampy bit, I'd prefer looking at to Kalusia, though, in my humble opinion.
True. Or,
Yeah,
I think I still dislike Amarang more though, and that I just don't like the desert look.
but
So I
she
never liked Pamela either.
loves Ul'dah.
I have a limited
I don't like
palette
all
for
that.
deserts.
I like the city. I don't like the desert though.
The city reminds me of Dalmasca, which is kind of cool. Where?
I'm being
oh,
attacked by a tree.
Where is he? Oh, he's over there. Die, potato!
Potatoes or trees?
Yeah.
Oh, we should probably just accept that teleport.
But taxi.
Me and Sarah are just having a pleasant Amuro flight.
One
I
day,
need a macro to hop on the taxi.
yeah, there needs to be an easier way to do that.
I'll be right back. You can take off without me.
Okay.
So why are we fighting? Why are we beating up elves?
Why not?
If I'm remembering correctly, they're the ones that are like. I'm actually trying to think of a way to explain this that doesn't get
Nightfade
sued.
has begun preparations to establish a stronghold in ruins nearby the Crystarium. The self-styled renegades are far too volatile to be considered anything but an active threat, and Crystarium forces require assistance and discourage in this endeavor.
They're basically terrorists. It's a little bit like the
Yeah.
situation with the Duskwights back in Gridania, except like
Much bigger.
kind of bigger because the world basically ended.
Aren't we terrorists, though? I mean, it's kind of a matter of perspective.
I-
So Garlemald were terrorists.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. What a counter argument could be made that they are the occupying force. So, like, if you go somewhere that doesn't belong to you with guns and you shoot at people and they shoot back and you die, you kind of forfeit your right to be upset. I think a little bit.
It's I think this diverges into a matter of political perspective.
We are getting dangerously close.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
now,
I really
now we're on the
more
now we're on the
than
track
another
of
country.
and
I was
who claims what as sovereignty and who.
Oh,
Again, I just have to bring that up that I was in another country with a gun
yep,
with people that shot back at me.
yep. And I'm not saying I don't have empathy for that situation.
And they were the people that were shooting back at us were labeled as terrorists by the whole world. But it was technically
It's
their
No,
country.
no, that's different. That's completely different, actually.
How close are you to 9, by the way, Cam?
He's like, let me not talk about this anymore.
One more.
All right, let's beat up some gremlins.
The pièce de résistance.
All right, we'll drop that conversation.
Only because we are, again, we're starting to infringe on that rule.
And we're also
Plus, we're streaming.
Yeah, we are streaming.
I mean, what's the better way to get viewers and some people who just want to?
I don't think
I don't want to.
I nor TCK wants that as a viewer base.
Yeah, the viewer base that you get from stirring the political pot is probably
Not the
Not.
one we want.
not what we're looking
That's
for.
the thing. It's just the fastest way to get viewers. Piss people off.
I mean, there are other ways. We found out that our target audience is sex bots.
Yeah, I mean, I
What?
could strip. We could get viewers that way.
What?
Yeah.
So the Kai Plays recap that I posted literally this afternoon, or no, it was this morning, has one comment on it so far. It's been up less than 6 hours at this point. And the only comment is from one of those sex bots.
Did you delete it?
No, I haven't yet.
No, it's our first comment. Why would we delete it?
Right.
Alright. Shall we move on?
I suppose. Let us la to the he.
I mean, to be fair, it's not saying anything bad. It's not like, hey, join this stream for hot singles
No,
in
it's
your
really
area.
just saying like, hey, this is nice.
Yeah, they're just saying this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't even have a link for like a porn site or anything.
No, it was
Yeah,
just like a
understand.
lips emoji and like a fire emoji and like 5 thumbs ups, and it's just like super nice. And then it's like a provocative avatar.
Yeah.
Ah,
Nice.
Maybe someone just posted that this was nice in the wrong account.
oh, you
I-
mean like the guy who ran the Fort Hood account, the Fort Hood Twitter account? No. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Fort Riley. So the
The military one.
The U.S. military or the U.S. Army's Fort Riley official Twitter responded or was caught
Oh no.
hitting or trying to hook up with with an OnlyFans account.
Whoopsies. Somebody didn't make it through the weekend the same rank they started at.
Yeah, they found the guy who ran the Fort Riley account didn't realize that he was still logged in to the Fort Riley official Twitter account when he made that tweet. He thought he was on his private one.
Yeah.
It's his defense.
If I was going to be running something in an official capacity like that, I think I would want to have it on 2 separate machines, TBH. Just so that I didn't even run the risk of something like that.
Yeah, but that's good operational security for anything that's important.
Yeah.
Or, hear me out here, don't look for smut on the internet.
I mean, but that's asking too much of some people.
That's like the same thing of like these people, like people who keep like all these like screenshots you see of someone sending like the worst possible thing you could say to the wrong person in
Yep.
like a text because they thought they were texting somebody else. I'm like, how do you confuse that?
I mean, on the one hand, that's really dumb. On the other hand, I have called Shion's wife 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years because she has the same name in my contacts as one of my managers from the last job. So I called out one time by
Yeah.
calling Shion's wife at like 2 in the afternoon one time.
I remember that.
And she was like, hi, I haven't talked to you in a long time. So I sort of get it, is what I'm saying.
To be fair, I've also made that mistake, except I texted one of my friend's moms and told her to go fuck herself. And that was
Uh-oh.
meant to my friend.
Whoops.
Yeah, that was some explaining.
Whew. Yeah, at least
was,
it wasn't anything like crazy. It was just like, hey, I'm calling out. I'm not going to be able to make it in today. And she's like, why are you telling me?
You don't work for me. God.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that was a weird couple of months. I didn't have that boss for a super long time, so it wasn't a long-term issue, thankfully.
Yeah, I was gonna say we only got a couple calls, so at least it wasn't consistent.
Yeah, I got a new manager like 4 months later.
Oh, so they're that bad.
No, the person that was my manager got a promotion, so then we got somebody who was that bad.
Turn it into your stuff.
Oh, yep.
Where's the person? Oh, over there.
I forgot this wasn't to kill Fate.
Oh, I forgot to switch over to Monk.
Womp womp. If you get out of combat, it might
being
still let
attacked.
you.
I mean, it'll let me, it's just that the glamour's not right.
Oh, well, sucks to suck, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, you gotta look good and play good, so feel that.
Everybody knows that looking good increases your DPS.
I was gonna say, Glam is a big DPS component, so...
And if you need to go fast, you put flames on the...
Red ones go faster. It's just how it works.
Wog?
Zug Zug.
Oh. I was thinking, well, you know, 40k. The orcs in 40k, that's one of their things when they make vehicles. The red ones go faster.
Yep. That one I did know.
Needs more DACA.
Daka, 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 daka. It's the most fun thing to say. I will always argue that. And I hate playing orcs. It's chaos or space marines. All the way.
I didn't even play 40k, but I know a lot of the orcs lore, just because my brother-in-law is hard into it.
What was that?
I said I know a lot of the orcs lore because my brother-in-law is hard into a lot of it.
Ah, I see. I've never actually played like the proper tabletop game.
Me neither. My experience with 40k is purely on the RTS spectrum.
Yeah, same for me. Some turn-based strategy games like Mechanicus too.
I haven't played that one.
It's fun.
I do have, and I'm proud to say this, I have the entire Dawn of War 2 collection.
Nice.
Which that was my introduction into 40k, and I still love that game so much. There's no fates.
Whale. I'm surprised I'm not any further along on spirit bonding any of these items.
I was gonna, but we're doing, because we have like the 510 gear, and we're doing like under level 80 stuff. It's gonna take forever.
Yeah.
Sure, but like my spirit bond is 1% on my hat, and I have both the scroll and the spirit bond
Okay.
potion.
All the way back at Slitherbow.
I'm just gonna fly there since I have passengers.
Is there a company buff for Spirit Bond?
There
We should
is,
get
in
some-
fact.
Some level 3s for Kai here.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'll be happy the day that they let us have 3 actions in one day.
that would be really cool. I don't know if they're ever gonna do that, but
What was the ethereal wheel? Why do we like? What was the whole point of that thing again?
so that can give you air quotes a free buff.
I left the wrong way.
But it also gives you the ability to have a tier 3 buff instead of a tier 2. So like instead of I think reduced rates is a good example. Tier 1 is 5% teleport cost reduction, tier 2 is 10%, and tier 3 is 15%. But tier 3 can only be obtained through ethereal wheels.
The same thing for hit of battle, it's the same numbers.
Yep, same numbers.
It's just not worth the hassle.
Yeah, we were doing some math earlier in officer chat for the cost of making those wheels, and with the current market rate for Dawnborn Ether Sand, a wheel is worth like 150, 175k.
Oh,
It'd actually be
Jeez.
more lucrative to probably sell at least half of the things that we make, and then we could turn a profit and buy the Dawnborn and all that jazz.
Alternatively, we could just farm and sell Dawnborn Ether Sand and either all be rich or drop the market down to basically nothing, and then the buffs become a lot cheaper to make.
That's also true. I don't think the Dawnborn's going to get cheaper, though, because it's used for other stuff besides that.
Yeah.
So we'll just get rich. That's fine.
I mean, that's an acceptable side effect. Especially since what I am making for buffs to start with are just the teleport cost reductions, which is just guild generation anyway, so... Yeah, I'd like to get us...
You had me at money, so...
I would love to do some Heat of Battle 3 buffs. So we're currently sending our ships out to get some red clusters, so it'll be a little while, but I'd like to get to the point where a couple of days a week we would have those XP3s up.
I think weekends would probably be the best.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that this idea that Sunday doesn't
Turn your
have
stuff
the
in.
battle up.
That means you, Draxus.
I'm punching something. Be there in a minute.
Yeah, so I'm always open to feedback about what buffs to have up on what days. We sort of settled on this rotation before Sunday Fundays was as open as it is. We were just doing mount farms at the time, so it was kind of, it didn't really matter what we had for buffs, because you didn't get any XP for it.
Yeah, but because I was thinking that, because a lot of people, because, you know, life, work, jobs, family, etc.
Yeah.
There could, you know, potentially some people that would be also doing more of their leveling on the weekends, because it's when they would have more time than during the week, right?
Sure. And
So
I mean,
I don't necessarily dislike the idea of having a day that's like a crafting and gathering day. I just don't know if Sunday is that day. Should be that day.
yeah, honestly, it ended up there as a,
Default.
yeah, because I had asked people what buffs they needed on what days, and so we had
Right, no
time.
one said anything.
Right, either people didn't say anything, or the people that did say anything wanted stuff like food buffs on the days where they were progging, for example.
That
Which-
was us.
You can get rid of that now, since I'm no longer...
Yeah, that was also something else I was gonna say. We don't need that to
There's
be...
days we don't need extended buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like extended food buffs in the first place, but I wasn't going to argue with people.
I do have to say it was very helpful.
It was.
It cut down on a lot of food.
I appreciated it
Yeah,
while
I
it
did.
lasted.
And I'm not positive, but I think Faye was doing her prog on another server, and both she and Kill didn't know that you don't get the FC buffs if you're not on Leviathan.
That's
So there was another day where we had a meal buff slotted that was not helping anybody.
No, because we had it on... It's Thursdays and Saturdays. And those were the days we were progging.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at least for us, it was useful on both days. And I will say, I've heard some people comment appreciating the food buffs for leveling too, honestly.
I mean,
I'm glad they
nice,
like
I
it,
guess.
I guess. I'm at
I
this
didn't
point where
really
I'm
think
like,
about it, honestly.
you can get the 3% XP off of prickly pineapples, and I throw away 100 a week. So, like, if you're low on food, let me know, please.
It's less about not having the food, and this I understand because it happens to me too. And more about, I forgot Kaya wasn't there, and more about
I'm back.
forgetting about the food. And so because it lasts longer, it gives you more time to remember to restock the food, I guess.
I mean, my issue is that with the extended food buffs, it lasts for 49 minutes. But without the extended food buffs, you could just eat 2, and they last for an hour.
Also true.
But if you eat 2 with the extended food buffs, you've lost like 11 minutes of food, which, again, isn't a big deal, but it bothers my OCD a little bit.
I'm just saying, we can totally get rid of it. I just tried to let you know that it wasn't a waste while we had it.
Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, all this to say that I am very receptive to feedback about what people want for company buffs, because most of them don't do anything for me anyway with the amount of free company scrolls that I have.
Right now, the only thing that I'm actually making use of it is teleporting, so...
Same. Tuesday is very, very helpful for me.
When we started out, the rotation that I had was basically just Heat of Battle and teleport costs for like 4 days a week. And then I think it was Crew, actually, like almost 2 years ago now, made a fuss and wanted more crafting and gathering days. So I said, okay, well, we'll just alternate.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, there's really not much use or a lot of like specific days that people do crafting and gathering in UFC. Unless
People
it's
tend to
wrong.
just knock it out whenever they have time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And most people are using those scrolls, or they're not doing it right. I don't say that to be
Yeah.
disparaging, just like, you should use scrolls. Please use scrolls.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hurt my soul when you don't.
What are you talking about, scrolls?
But the Grand Company scrolls for experience crafting and gathering.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 million be
Yeah. I still have 30 of each on one of my retainers, waiting for the next time they up the cap.
I think
Not
I
because-
got rid of
a
mine.
good quantity of them.
I just got a bunch of them passively, and I needed way fewer of them than I thought I was going to need.
I think I got rid of it for space. For other useless things probably, but you know. Other useless things that I wanted more than the useless things that I didn't want so much.
I just didn't expect the gap between expansions to be quite as long as it's been. It's been almost 2 years now.
It's always that. I
Right.
think for some reason, I think we just felt this one more.
Well, this one was delayed.
Right. That, and
No, but
they
even
made...
then, because like it's only 2 months. It feels more than that, but it's only a 2-month delay.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of when I saved these things, it was towards the front end of Shadowbringers, and early on they made some overtures about there being a shorter gap between Shadowbringers and the next expansion than the gap that they had between Stormblood and Shadowbringers.
Oh, well, that may have been a plan, but it's certainly not going to happen.
Right, like that became more obvious the more we got into 2020. But like when I made the
Yeah.
decision to save those, I was like, well, you know, before I know it, the cap will be 90 or whatever, so I'll just hang on to a few. 2 years
Yeah, but
later,
it's also not like it's a hassle to get them. So,
this is true.
and you know, I don't have 1,000 retainers.
I mean, I would die without my 4 retainers. I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed. I blame Kai for this every day.
It's so useful.
It is.
Hey, does anybody have any refined Natron? Yeah, I have 29. Here you go.
I can't tell you how many times somebody's like, "Hey, do you have this?" And I'm like, "Actually, yes."
Yep.
yeah.
I went to do those ethereal wheel crafts earlier today, and once I had gotten the Dawnborn Ether Sand, I had all of the rest of the mats, like 30 or 40 each, and I went, okay, well, I guess I don't have to farm anything.
Yeah, see, I always have to go farm stuff whenever I want to do stuff.
Yeah. See, that's what I have, like 2 retainers full of crafting shit,
Yep.
and I don't craft,
Yep.
but it's there.
Yep.
Like, I just look. I have like a stack of almost 200 freaking dark steel.
How, though? Don't you need, like, a ton of coke for that? I mean, allegedly?
Do you desynth everything
No,
and
the
just
dark
throw it
steel
in your
nuggets, or the
Oh.
dark steel ore.
Oh, hey, look. That's right.
Oh, what?
Oh,
That's
Nani?
an A rank.
Grassman. That's an S rank.
That's an A rank.
That's an A rank.
We could still kill it because it's still worth a sack of nuts.
Yeah, because if it was an
Yeah,
S rank, we probably
Let's castrate
couldn't.
this motherfucker. We need a healer.
Let's
I'll
get his
switch.
nuts.
I do this as level 71, so
Shion, you might want to change.
You might want to switch. You're not even gonna get the nuts for it if you
Yeah.
don't.
Oh yeah, your participation trophy is significantly reduced.
Yeah.
we
Gotta
good?
get nuts.
yep.
Last second swap. Decided to do his red mage to actually like make a difference.
I have a friend.
I got him.
Nuked.
Oh, that hurts.
Bone stacks. So you know what's interesting
I'll
is
test when I see it.
one of the first couple of Sunday Funday festivities that we uploaded was a Blue Mage farm, and we finished out that night doing Go Go Gorgamera, the Fate in Northern Thanalan. And because that plays torn
Holy
from the
shit.
head. Yeah, this
Holy
hurts.
shit!
He's gonna do it again. Oh, it heals. Oh my god.
Because it plays torn from the heavens. Bye, Kuro.
So long and thanks for the fish.
Because the fight plays torn from the heavens, we got a copyright strike against that video on YouTube
Really?
for the in-game background music.
Oh, shields. Jesus.
Oh, oof.
Bye, Carol.
I got him. But yeah, it just, that struck me as kind of funny because it's not like we were playing third-party music. I am not positive this isn't an S rank, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't have mitigation for that.
I'm almost positive it's an S. It's part of the part of the hunt train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly.
Oh, dodge. Dodge!
Chicken, no.
Oh, Hayate's not up. Let me get him back in here.
Yeah, I think our chocobos ate the dust when he started pounding his chest.
Well, I don't think mine was even up when we got here. I wasn't really paying attention, but...
Chest thump. She's gonna stand there.
Alright, I have mantra. Why am I not using that?
Great question.
Mode.
Dodge.
Oh, don't be in front of that.
More
Right,
chest
that's
thumps.
fine, sir.
I feel like I'm doing bad DPS.
He just has a million health.
Yep.
No, I'm looking at the aggro table.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, I had a
Dodge.
cooldown up for that.
Oh my god, that was
Woo!
close.
I wasn't sure you were going to make it, Shion.
I didn't think I was going to either.
But yeah, like, I'm going full blast on this dude, and...
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the summoner doing my full rotation. I don't know what my damage is, but I'm sure it's not low.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Whoo, Nelly.
Well, my monk isn't even queued. So, I guess I can't complain.
See, I am dead.
Who?
Oh.
I got you.
You got it or I got it?
I got it.
Okay, I'll get
Oh.
Kuro.
I was gonna say, I am in a situation right now where I am having to cast Cure because everything is on cooldown.
This hurts.
I don't have any mitigation. Oh god, dang, Buster!
I'm just gonna be Cure Mage for a minute.
Instant flashes him out the head.
Hayate!
Oh, chicken died again.
Picking up Kuro.
Oh, chest thump.
There's a mantra.
Oh, I got a big sack of cures here. And I'm out of MP.
Tank Buster. I'll heal through this with what's it called? Nascent
That got
Flash.
a cone! I was right next to you,
My
Kyle.
God,
Oh.
come on!
I thought I was at max range for that.
I literally just popped Lucid Dreaming and he killed me. Fuck.
We're not
Oh.
going to survive this.
Not you, Kai.
Yeah, if this is an S rank,
Oh my god.
Ah!
Oh, boy.
Go Pelt.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize we
Yes,
needed
sir.
2 healers for this.
oh my god. I got nothing.
Really not doing much on tank here except absorbing damage. Oh god, that hurts.
I'm
Don't do
doing
venom.
supplemental heals, but I don't know that
Oh,
that's
God,
really that
Kuro.
effective.
I thought Kuro was gonna die again there.
More chest thumps. Jesus
Because
H.
there's too
Roosevelt
often.
Christ.
I'm out of mitigation again. I don't have cooldowns for that. Ah! Equilibrium, save me.
I forgot you, Verbro.
Oh, we got this. We can do this.
Poor Hayate has 2 vuln stacks. Man,
I can't
Oh.
wait to get 2 sacks of nuts for this.
whew. I think he gave us those sacks of nuts, alright. I think we'll have earned them. This was a little bit more involved than I think we bargained for.
Yep.
Oh
We
shit.
got this.
Stool pelt. You sure that's not the whole fight, buddy? Kind of feels
Chicken,
like it.
no. Kai, res my bird.
Oh, where's he at?
Too late.
I think Sasquatch ate him.
I think so. Ah!
Uh-oh.
Aha, vengeance.
If he gets a higher education, can he be Dr. Squatch? Oh, okay.
I hate how often he does this. There's no time for my shit to come back.
Demon just left. My chocobo.
Yeah, they take significantly reduced damage from the AoEs here, thankfully. I don't know how much healing Hayate is doing, though. Let me make sure he's in healer stance. Maybe that will help a little.
Get on the bubbles.
Tank Buster, busting up your tank. And that's why it's called Tank Buster.
We have a limit break,
Thanks.
by the way. I'd highly suggest use that.
That would be...
Hey, Mr. Monk.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did it.
Thank you. Or chest thumps.
We're getting into a rhythm now, guys.
He does so much.
Hey, Choco Medica. I see that.
Alright, it's almost over.
Oh, streak. I got you.
I hate it.
Ah, I'm getting so focused on healing.
Oh, I don't have the MP for any more reses right now.
I'll get Kara.
Cool.
Ow.
Gotcha.
I can heal myself through this tank buster.
You know, the one thing that's saving my ass is the fact that I have to stay on his ass this whole time.
Yeah, well, sometimes I stop paying attention because I'm like healing
This should
a
get him.
lot.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Holy shit!
That was an S rank.
That was an S rank.
Yep.
Okay then.
40 sacks of nuts, cracked Stella cluster. 30 poetics, and
I'll
20
immediately
allegory.
greeted with fucking Lahi.
Yep.
Wait, I didn't get Stella clusters.
Me
I got-
either.
Cluster
I got
and
one.
Stella cluster.
It's random because I got them.
Well, that's dumb.
I got 2 stellar clusters. 20
Oh,
allegory, 10 revelation, 30 poetics, 40 nuts.
Back to Dan.
I
I'm
am
putting
upset.
Drax on follow. I need to go put my kid back to bed. Fifth time.
good luck with that.
So, in the meantime, all the fates have spawned.
Well, if you needed an intermission, there it was. That was harrowing.
Hey, I feel like I did pretty good for, not knowing much about, or not playing Monk too much.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, I climbed to number 2 in the aggro table, but I want to say that's only because everybody else died.
That could be.
And I did not die once, and I'm very happy about that.
I wouldn't know because I was very busy and very stressed out.
Yeah, I would have offered to be your backup healer had I had any indication he was gonna hurt that much.
Yeah. Hey, I did it though.
You
I
did.
guess.
You absolutely did. That was a trip.
I would have switched to Dark Knight had I known. Had I known this tank buster hurt that bad.
Yeah.
Right? Ugh. I could have also switched my chocobo to healing stance, but like, once I realized that I had no time.
Yep. That was one of those things that I sprinkled it in during my dual cast cooldown.
I had no time. I had no dual cast.
Nope. Oh. Force a habit.
Oh god.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
On the plus side, I'm getting used to this new mouse.
I thought you were kidding about the 20-button mouse.
No, that's a real thing I got.
Well, all
So
right.
why aren't you playing Paladin?
That's what the joke was.
Because I don't like Paladin.
Touche.
I just said I can actually play it now.
You can't.
It-
Doesn't mean you will.
Yeah. It's funny, I hate Paladin so much, but it's the job that I did 1 through 50, and even most of Heaven's Word with.
So you started as a Paladin?
I love
Yeah.
Paladin. It's a wicked fun class.
I started as Paladin and did all of Realm Reborn and most of Heaven's Word as a...
I just like how Paladins have a dumb amount of raid-wide utility.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with you there. That's awesome.
I forgot I was still on my red mage.
Will this guy ever stop spinning? Holy shit.
That's because there's a Dark Knight here who's running around in circles.
I see this. That's who I'm talking to.
Oh, so while we have a bit of a lull, I am considering the possibility of a bonus episode of Kai Plays this week. Does anybody have any thoughts, requests, opinions on a day that they might want to have an hour's worth of entertainment?
Not really.
I think honestly, you should ask your fan base.
That's
We
what
are
he's doing.
fan based.
That, I mean, I
talking
wasn't
about
gonna
the
say
other
it,
fan
but-
base.
oh, you mean the sex bots?
I meant to say.
Ask them what their preference is. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Do-
did seem to enjoy it.
Do one of those YouTube announcements, see if you get any responses.
Oof.
Are you gonna be doing the same thing, or are you like thinking of a different game?
Sorry, I was two chats going at once. I would probably continue with Ori and the Blind Forest.
Okay.
Like that game is beautiful, and not bashing on you or anything, but fortunately with your stream equipment, it still looks like a good game. The graphics still come out really well.
How about we do a Kai plays Dwarf Fortress? That'll look really good at low bitrate.
Oof.
I'm dying.
I am on my way.
Have you ever played Dwarf Fortress, Kai?
I have not.
Oh, even better. Now we have to do it.
I
Totally
have
blind, go in it, no tutorial or anything.
All right. I have a short list of games that I intend to queue up for future Kai Plays series. You know, anticipating this being kind of a long-running segment that I do. One of the games that I'll play is Final Fantasy IV on Steam. I am considering the Square Enix Tomb Raider reboot.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Is that the one on Xbox?
Again, everything that I have is through Steam, so it might be, but
Okay.
I
I think you should play Final Fantasy VIII.
Final
okay.
Fantasy VIII, the remaster.
Get the remaster. Okay. I thought about playing it, but I had played 8 enough times that I was like, am I hyped enough about the slight quality bump? But if people want to see it, then that is all the more excuse for me
You
to get
can
it.
also just like push it down a bit on the list so that, you know, it's not too fresh on your mind, maybe.
That's true. You know, by the time I get through like Final Fantasy IV and whatever, then
Yeah, I was thinking more because like I've actually been curious because of Eden, but I know I won't play it. So I would love if someone did that I could watch.
I'd like to. Yeah, I'd like to see 8. I have no intentions of playing it because turn-based combat.
oh man, I miss turn-based combat though, and it's actually ATB, which is I know that is a nuanced difference, but it's a difference though.
ATB.
Yeah, active time battle.
Active
Active
turn-based
time.
combat, where it's not
Oh.
like the bar is building up when things are happening.
Yeah, you have charge bars
Oh.
that are affected by like haste and slow.
See, I don't actually like that. I prefer to either have it be active combat or pause the combat and be actually turn-based. That
Yep.
bar filling up just stresses me out.
Yeah, I don't prefer ATB. I do prefer true turn-based like Final Fantasy X and X-2, but yeah,
Well, even then, you could still turn ATB on in 10.
this is true. I didn't, but you could.
Can you turn it off in 8?
It's by default off.
In 8, the closest you have for 8 is the same thing that you had for 7, which is that you can pause the bars when you're in menus. But
No, 7 had a 7. You
I
turned
think
it
you
off.
actually had a setting that you could turn it
Yeah,
off.
7 has active or they have wait.
wait only waits while you're choosing an action to execute, though.
Well, yeah, that's what true turn-based. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people consider true turn-based.
I think you misunderstand, because with like if your action is ready but you don't take an action, the enemy will continue to wail on you, which is not an actual turn base.
That's wait in at least in the PS1 version of 7 was if it was one of your player or character's turns, then time was stopped while you chose your action.
Yeah, it was basically a pause.
I realize I haven't played that game in like 8 years, but I don't think that's true at all. Because if you open up magic or items or summon or something, you wouldn't get wailed on while you're choosing something. But if you're sitting there looking at the initial menu that's like attack, defend, item, escape, or whatever, they will keep hitting you even in wait mode. Because wait would only pause time while you're choosing something from a sub menu.
I guess I never let us sit there, but also I know wait also stops your regen. I know that
Yes, it does.
But even then, at least the wait, even if it's just while you're choosing stuff, at least lets you choose in peace and not stressed.
People are doing map farm or maps.
I agree with Celestia, who's in chat with us, by the way. Thank you for joining us. I hadn't had an opportunity, a break from my own thoughts to acknowledge you sooner. I apologize. But I do agree with your input on Final Fantasy titles being good for drawing in people who have tangential interests to 14 and therefore might want to be a Chocobo Knight.
That's also true.
But yeah, I would definitely replay 8, especially if people had an interest in seeing it. This is not where we're going. I'm sorry. I dropped us just a little bit too soon.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry. No, it was a tangent. You can continue your thought.
Oh, okay. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. I could try a thing that I've done with games that I've played multiple times in the past is I do a run-through that's something I haven't tried before. So, like, I don't tend to use Selphie at all in 8 because I don't like her. Not as a character, but just like the way that she performs. I'm not a fan.
Right.
And I love Quistis, but she's not the best. And I don't like Rinoa as a character or how she performs. So I just kind of default to having this party that's Zell, Irvine, and Squall all the time because they're just objectively good.
Yes.
Meaning
So
that your party on this playthrough is going to be Selphie and...
probably
No.
Selphie and Quistis.
Correct me if
And
I'm wrong
Rinoa.
though. In 8,
You have to play with all of them.
yeah,
at the
you have to
end,
level
yes.
everyone, or else you get fucked when you fight the Griever.
Kind of, but you can't take Squall out of your party. So, like, I
Yeah.
can't have a party that's all girls, unfortunately.
Turn in your shit.
Boo. Right.
Yeah, a lot of those older games, you kind of live for those brief parts of the game where you're allowed to take the protagonist out of your party.
Yeah, like I was so excited my first time playing through 7 because I wanted to. I got Vincent and I'm like, oh man, this guy looks really cool. I want to run around the world as him. And then I got excited when Cloud was lost and they let you run around as Tifa, and I'm like, oh well, this is cool too because I really like Tifa.
Yep.
But that was only for a little bit, and then you ran around with Sid for a little bit, and then you got Cloud back.
Yeah, spoilers a little bit, so I apologize in advance if you haven't had a chance to play all of Chrono Trigger. But there is a portion of the game where Chrono is not in your party, which I kind of loved because I got to roll around with I'm just going to call them the secret character to avoid spoilers. I rolled around with the secret character, Robo, and Frog, and it was a good time.
I was gonna say, is it Frog because everyone seems to love Frog?
No. Frog is fantastic, but I would not call him a secret character because he's a party member in, like, the first chapter.
Yeah.
I have never played Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross.
I haven't played Chrono Cross. I got it initially as an emulator. I know, sue me. Because I thought it was going to be a true sequel to Chrono Trigger, and then it wasn't, and I didn't get into it.
Yeah. So 7 was my first introduction to Final Fantasy, and I'm not sure if I told the story or not. But when I beat 7, I was so obsessed with it. I started asking my older brother, who's the one who let me borrow his version of 7. Right? I'm like, so this is Final Fantasy 7, so there's a Final Fantasy 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever, right? And he's
Blast
like,
off.
yeah. What?
Huh?
Ready?
I said blast off because
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I was like, what's going
You
on?
you kind of froze my brain there. I was like, what?
Does not compute.
Anyway. So I asked him, it's like, so which Final Fantasy do I play? Which Final Fantasy allows you to play as Sephiroth? And he's like, he just looked at me so confused because I thought it was a sequel. Like Final Fantasy 7 was like the 7th game in the series.
Oh,
And then I looked at him like, because you know they have like the whole part where you're playing, where Sephiroth's in your party and it's a flashback. So I figured, you know, this is a continuation of the story. And then he like started laughing. He's like, "That's not how Final Fantasy works."
no.
no.
It's so funny how many times I talk to somebody about Final Fantasy, and they're like, "I never got into the series." I'm like, "Except they're all standalone games."
Yeah, there's one duo of games, there's one trilogy, and a bunch of standalones.
Yet
I
they're
mean,
all Final
technically
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VII is the biggest series they have because they have, Final Fantasy VII, then Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, then Final Fantasy VII Dirge of
Start
Cerberus,
naming your things.
That
and then
and
Final Fantasy VII Before Crisis, which was a mobile game.
I guess I was kind of overlooking 12 and 12-2 because I didn't play 12-2, but
Isn't there like
Oh,
3
two?
13 games?
yeah, that's the trilogy I was referring to.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Hallway.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13 though sucks.
Yes, I agree with you. It's
Yeah.
the only one I've played other than this too.
Okay, what about 9?
9 is by itself.
I liked 9.
That should go on your list too.
I never played 9. 9 is
You
the only
can't-
Final Fantasy I never played.
I'll replay 9 for
Hey,
the
Kai, if you
stream.
want to play a full female party, you can just play 10-2.
God,
I mean,
no. God no.
my opinion on 10-2 has shifted a little bit over the last few years, but it's not what I wanted, is all I will say. It kind of rankled me that it was so low effort for the first, like, true sequel in the franchise. And they tried to be very pink to the exclusion of really a lot of the content, honestly.
Are all the fates in Raktika turned in fates?
A lot of them are.
Yeah, I really do enjoy, like, 10 is up there with some of my favorite Final Fantasies. 10-2 though is possibly near the bottom of the barrel. The only thing that's beating it is the 13 series.
I loved the combat system. I don't know why we needed a Sailor Moon costume change 15 times a battle, because that got really, really tedious. But I did love the combat system. I liked the 3 main characters. Just because they're cool, they bring a lot of color and a lot of life to the narrative. But then so much of it was low effort. It was like they took the same low res models from the previous game and reused them. Waka hasn't aged any. Lulu is supposed to be pregnant, but she's the same model. She's supposed to be noticeably pregnant at this point in the narrative, and she's not.
Yeah, she's literally about to pop.
Nuge is offensively pink for no reason other than they thought it would be more appealing to more female players, which I'm all in favor of doing that, but it feels really shallow to be like, they're just pink now. Girls like pink, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
That is like somewhat, yeah, that is literally what that is. It's like, it's people that have no idea what women want in a game.
And don't get me wrong, and because I know, Celestia, that you're listening, and I don't mean anything against women who like pink. That's not the issue here. The issue is that it wasn't really a thought-out development, in my humble opinion. It's just,
No,
it was a
yeah,
very
that's not the
low-effort
issue.
selling
I
point.
also I do like pink.
I like
That's-
pink, but
Yeah, the problem is thinking, oh, you're a girl, so you like pink, so here's a pink thing, now you're happy, right?
yeah.
That's the issue.
That is so lazy.
I will say, though,
Yeah.
Gipple was really cool. I feel like he's probably my spirit animal in that game, so that was a redeeming quality.
hand in your shiz.
Also, another turn-based game for you, Legend of Dragoon.
I love Legend of
God.
Dragoon, and I would play that for the 100th time, so no issues there.
Suikoden.
I
Try
never got
that.
a chance to get into Suikoden. I heard that it was very punishing.
It is it took that whole it's one of those that's like, hey, you know how all these turn-based strategy games has like a very small party versus a whole fucking army. No, now now it's a whole fucking army versus another whole fucking army. The only problem with Suikoden is that it doesn't do anything to like get you out the door. It's like, here's a world, figure it out.
Go poke it with a stick.
Yeah,
Are you a Valve game?
that is Suikoden.
You could always play through the Dragon Quest series.
The only one I had a chance to
Dragon Quest-
play was the first like couple hours in a demo of 8, and I liked what I saw because it's Akira Toriyama, and you can't go wrong there.
It's a very fun.
I have a sneeze coming on.
Yeah, that'd be a good let's play. It'd span over multiple games.
Not you.
Thank you. So I will have no shortage of potential content for Kai Place.
Yeah, plus it's also, I mean, Dragon Quest is also a Square game. So,
A what game?
Square.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's hard to go wrong with a game that was animated by Akira Toriyama.
Yeah.
Please support the official release.
Dragon Ball.
Support the official release.
Yes.
God. I love Team 4-Star.
Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT are all owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, Shueisha, and Akira Toriyama. Please support the official release.
Now dodge!
Dodge!
Man, I'm trying to remember the Hellsing one too.
Oh, I only know the
Hellsing
really
is
offensive
fantastic.
one, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Hellsing Abridged is, I think, honestly more. It has more laugh content
Yeah.
than Dragon Ball Abridged.
Dragon Ball, towards the end of its run there, kind of hit a bit of a dry patch. They were just trying to get through the rest of the Frieza storyline to the point where I remember the episode where they introduced Trunks. The only part I laughed in the entire episode was the Lion King joke. And I'm like, there's only one moment in a 20-minute episode that I laughed. Oof.
I know one of their movie covers was pretty funny. I think it was the one with Android 19.
Oh yes. My trucker hat.
Oh, Android 13? Howdy there, I'm Android 13. Look at my trucker hat.
And
I
it's,
did
like,
not.
constantly kicking Goku in the nuts.
I did not realize how much of that was content from the original movie. Like, the bit with the fish at the end is how the movie ended.
Yep.
What? Really? I've never
Really?
seen the original movie.
I had to go
Holy
back and rewatch it.
To be fair, if you want to watch a good DBZ nut kicking, The Revenge of Cooler.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Why does it keep kicking me in the dick?
Oh,
Wow, I can't believe all 500 of them need you at the dick.
I love it.
Too good.
But yeah, Hellsing just has a whole, like, Hellsing Abridged just has the most amazing one-liners. And now my brain is farting. I can't remember any of them, so I now need to go rewatch the whole fucking series again.
Do it
The
up.
only one that I remember is you've activated my trap card. You've activated my Alu card.
Shame
That's the
for
only one I
you.
remember.
You've activated my Alucard.
I unironically think that the Hellsing Abridged is better than the original dub. It's so good.
I actually had not seen all of the dub before watching the abridged, so
Why would you ever watch the dub?
Because I'm a Hellsing nerd. I watched Hellsing before the Abridged series even came out.
I mean, I did too, but like, but like, I still watch this. I still get, like, the sub is still better than the dub.
oh man.
Yeah, true. I agree.
So, real thing, Yu-Gi-Oh!
I have
That
not
is
watched
what
Yu-Gi-Oh!
started
Abridged.
all of it. Little
Yeah.
Karibo is basically the catalyst for the entire like popularity and success of the abridged series. Is
I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. It's also a good one.
we have killed all of the fates for now.
I am 23 out of 60 on that PK.
How many bicolor gems do I have now? 605. I can afford my tiny Amaro.
Yay!
That's Sunday Funday. Bye.
Later.
All right, now that I've accomplished my personal goal, I'm gonna ditch the rest of you, and I'm gonna go eat cake.
Perfect.
There's cake.
We don't have cake. Kai has cake.
The
Oh.
cake is a lie. I do have peppermint bark, however, which I am an absolute fanatic for.
It reminds me of you, of like, or it just comes to mind of you, like, ripping off a piece of, like, birch bark and chewing on it and thinking it tastes like peppermint.
Trees for the tree god. Nom 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 nom. Just call me
Kai, good
Cenarius.
Kai's just out in the woods, just like tearing chunks of bark off of trees with his teeth.
Low key, I'm just a weird forest gremlin who occasionally does live streams.
It's like the viral video years ago of this guy who did vocal training when he was younger, but then he, fell in hard times, wound up becoming homeless, and this viral video came out of him, of someone seeing him at a crosswalk or at a stop,
Uh-huh.
and he had he had a sign. It's like, for 25 cents, I'll say anything, or like I'll say anything you want, right?
Okay.
And so they bit, and they're like, okay, what's the stick here? And he basically had the perfect radio announcer voice.
Oh, cool.
So that went viral, and he got a gig at his local radio station like a couple days later.
Nice.
Sweet.
If only I had been that lucky with my pursuits right out of college. I guess I wasn't
again,
homeless. Maybe that was the selling point.
The thing is that you didn't go. Yeah, you don't have it. You haven't gone viral yet. That's the problem. Once you get someone like Tot or Mr. Happy to acknowledge you, you're good. And Kai's like, yeah, thanks for the.
No, we always knew it was going to be a slow build. It's kind of an audacious project because when we started out, there were like 2 of us, which grew into like 4 of us, and it's been a slow build for almost 2 years now. But every time I'm like, oh, we don't have 1 million subscribers on YouTube or whatever, I look back at it and I go, no, but we have at least 60 active people now, and they're all fucking awesome. So.
We just need that TCK Nest crossover video.
They are on the Primal.
They are on Primal.
Yeah. They are on the Primal data center. I think they're on Lamia, to be honest.
I believe so.
Look,
I know that's where the Zoltan from Nest is from.
that's
Is
one of
Lamia.
those servers that I don't have much of an opinion about. There's some servers that you're like, oh, they're one of those, but I've never really
Like
had.
Balmung.
Or Ultros.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thing with Ultras is. I hear people saying that, but I don't know what it is.
I feel a little bit like Hagrid here. Never was a witch or wizard. What went bad that wasn't on Slytherin. They're the Slytherin of no, that's not fair to Slytherin.
Okay.
No, but like most of the awful, toxic, mouthy players I've encountered in Duty Finder have been Ultros players. On the flip side of that, I know at least 2 really awesome people who are either current or former Ultros denizens. So they do churn out some good ones. Just a disproportionate number of people I don't like from that server.
Yeah, and everybody knows the reputation Balmong has.
Yep. Balmung is Balmung. It's the Pornshire of Primal.
Oh, Final Fantasy in general.
Well, I'm sure on the other data centers there's the equivalents of Balmung.
The only thing I know is that Behemoth, I think, is the Brazilian server.
Yeah. Lamia right now is Primal's bot infested server because it's it's the only preferred server on the data center.
Oh, interesting. That's also probably why I don't have strong opinions about folks that I encounter from there, because they're a little bit like unicorns.
Yeah. So like Saren acknowledged that the other day she was in Limsa, or she was doing some New Game Plus, and she found just a whole mess of bots that were wanderers, and they're all coming from Lamia.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you go into the Realm Reborn areas, that's where you find the bots, right?
Yeah, because the bots will not survive out of Realm Reborn because they get caught, they get reported.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish Square would implement a report bot button like they report RMT button.
Mm.
Honestly, that'd make life so much easier. Instead of me going in and typing in their freaking retarded ass names into the report cheating.
I'm still moderately surprised by the presence of bots in Final Fantasy XIV. Not like it's not shocking to me. I've been around the internet for a long time, but it seems to have a very limited market for what you could accomplish with bots. You know, I get that gold selling is a thing, or gil selling in this case, but gil is not really the end-all resource for this game. Once you hit a certain amount, you don't really need a lot more.
No, honestly, I think the housing problem generates a lot of the RMT problem.
Yeah, probably.
Not that it didn't exist before, because, like, again,
right.
I've been playing since before private housing was a thing.
Bots are eternal. There's always going to be gold sellers.
Yeah, we already had plenty of RMT. But I think the housing issue increased the botting, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it increased the need of people to buy gil, I guess.
Yeah.
That's their goal, right? I need to buy a house. I can only buy a house if someone sells me a house, which they're only going to sell it to me for like 100 million gil.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to buy this FC to get this house, and it's 125 million gil for a medium plot, so...
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go spend $30 on gil or whatever.
And that's the other thing. It's like, it's cheap, right? So what's the problem?
And then your account gets hacked and is used for botting, which, you know, crashes the markets and fucks up everything else.
You know, and I could be wrong in this one. I'm certainly not an expert. I don't purport to be. But it almost seems like you could probably kill more bots fixing the housing problem than trying to fix the botting problem, because you drive the demand for gold farming way, way down.
You could.
Yes, but that would mean fixing the house problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I understand there's there's a physical problem or a physical issue with housing, you know? Because
server space.
Yeah, server space. It's very limited.
Sure, I get that. I don't know, though. Other MMOs have figured it out.
Issue.
Well, a lot of other MMOs use instance housing.
Boom, exactly. Do that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
End of discussion.
It's like Yoshi P needs to accept that his idea of a neighborhood didn't work.
No, because you can't have a Mr. Rogers neighborhood when half your neighbors are in the KKK, is all I'm getting at.
Well, that's one thing, but like, I guess, yeah, because people don't really even, because even when, like, there wasn't private housing, right? And it was just, like, FCs that had houses. People hang out in their houses a lot, but not in the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's, like, going around the neighborhood like, oh, that's cool, and talking to the neighbors or anything.
Yeah,
honestly,
like, that doesn't happen.
You get more arguments with people because of their neighbors, like, people reporting each other because, oh, this guy's, like, you know, this guy's practicing Gunbreaker, and we have our
on his dummy.
On.
Yep.
Yeah, or or you have the people who, like, buy up an entire fucking ward, and then they make an entire fucking 4chan post defending themselves, and they get reported on 24/7 because they have, like 10 different alts on the same server with their own house.
Yep. I don't know.
I don't know if Japan is different and that's why he doesn't realize that this doesn't work. Like, I don't know what it is. But...
Well, the Japanese player base seems to be have their heads a lot more tightly screwed on, so...
Does the system work there is what I wonder.
I don't know. I don't really know anybody on a Japanese data center, unfortunately.
I don't speak Japanese.
It's the same thing. It's the same function. There's actually on the JP server, there's a thing called Christmas Town where somebody bought out a whole ward and decorated it all to Christmas. It was happening during...
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I went over there, we got a bunch of free stuff. It was really fun. But I mean, it's a kind of a double-edged sword because you have people doing that stuff, but then they also do really good stuff with the community with it.
I mean, I kind of get it, but also...
Yeah, I
because
don't know.
there's such a shortage in housing, it's like you're gonna draw ire from everybody who who doesn't have a house.
Yeah,
And again, then you're rising up. Then you're just making guild sellers more prominent because now people are buying guilds so they can afford to buy the house off of people on fucking Reddit.
and I get Celestia's point. Like, a lot of the way that instanced housing has been done in certain games is really unattractive, and that's nothing to shake a stick at. Like, that's definitely a valid point. But I feel like if server space is the main issue, there are probably some ways to do some instancing to free up more availability without completely getting rid of the entire neighborhood type deal. You know, you could probably have pods for instances, you know?
Have what?
Like pods, like certain groups of people share an instance. So like there's 5 or 6 different FCs that all have the same kind of neighborhood.
So like smaller neighborhoods, basically.
Basically.
How about this? If you're an FC, you can buy a house in the same neighborhood at a discounted price. So you stick to the same instance on the same server
Right.
with the same FC.
Or how
Thus
about this?
reducing
If you wanted to do a neighborhood, why don't you do an FC neighborhood where you have the FC buy like the first, like the big house, and then like people could pay money to like guild to have additional plots put onto their little instance.
So kind of like the FC rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
so
for
instead
now
of-
there's an additional plot that can be purchased by the FC members, and the instancing itself is the FC buying the big mansion.
Or
which
if
would be
that
them
doesn't
buying
work,
an instance, their own little instance, little neighborhood.
if for whatever technical reason that doesn't work, instead of having additional chambers added on as a sub-instance of the house, you could have the FC house be in an instanced area, and then from the gate or whatever, you could load to the front yard of somebody else's air quotes house, because theirs is built off from the FC's instance.
Yeah, I mean, either way, if all they have to do is do like if they want to have neighborhoods, they can do instanced neighborhoods, which
Yeah.
kind of like what they're doing.
But
Well,
isn't a
but
ward
except-
an instance though?
Not necessarily, because then you're not loading into a specific instance. You're loading into like just like a server instance.
So
Like you
it's
have-
called.
Yeah.
So in the technical terms of MMOs, it's called a shard.
Yeah, okay. So, like, kind of like if Raktika right now had too many people in it, you would have, the message saying, you're in instance 1 of Raktika. Right? But that's only if it's way overpopulated.
I agree with your point, Celestia, that G definitely does that. They were my first ever FC on Final Fantasy XIV, just because they were the first auto invite I finally decided to accept.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I can't see what Celestia said. Can you share it with the class?
Oh, sorry. So she says, I think they should also crack down more on people making alts just to snap up houses that they'll never use. G does that, and it's really upsetting to see, especially when you're exploring neighborhoods and you see a bunch of empty houses that just belong to alts.
Yeah.
So my solution to the housing issue is to put in 100 ward, let people buy their houses, and then slowly consolidate them as they figure out that they're not going to make a profit off of buying a shit ton of houses.
Yeah, just make balanced pods, like I said. You kind of wean out the extra shards and whatnot, and then you start instancing like one really active group with 2 or 3 less active groups or whatever. So that way you don't have like a million people in the same instance, and it's like overdrawing on everything. But
Yeah, the alt thing is an easy fix that I don't know why they don't do it. Honestly, they should simply make it account wide, and that's it.
One private house per account.
Or at the very least, one private house per server on your account.
yeah,
But I mean, there are people that actually like choose to level a class all the way to 80. So to bar them from part of the gameplay, I feel like
But
if
they
you
wouldn't be bar. But that's the thing. So what if you could share your house with your alt though?
why
make
not
it
why not
resident.
just make the
That's why I'm
unlocking
saying
of a
account.
house gated behind the main scenario quest?
But who would still have that problem, especially with story skips?
Yeah, because
and
people.
stuff?
The thing is that when you have one account that has 20, like multiple houses on the same data center,
On the same
Yeah.
server.
yeah, or on the same, on the same server. So why would you? Why would it be? Why you? What gameplay mechanic is it that someone that already has a house on their main character doesn't have a house on their alt?
Maybe they want to. Maybe they're doing something different on their alt that they don't want to do on their main character. A lot of people RP on separate characters. They want a house for it.
It's hard to kind of swallow the argument, though, that, but what if I want to split my time between two characters is more valid than somebody can't get a house on their one and only character? I guess is where I'm at. So it's like, I understand if you're unemployed or retired or whatever, and you have the ability to spend 12, 13 hours a day and play two different characters and get full use and mileage out of two full estates, that's fine. But at what point is it enough, and at what point should that kind of be less valid than somebody else who plays 4 hours a day being able to get their own house?
And you're never going to please everyone, so you have to go for the majority.
But what I'm saying is gating it behind a character versus, like, let's say main scenario, which nobody's going to create an alt and then bot through all of the main scenario without getting caught, makes it more reasonable for people who want to do that
That's
thing
the thing. They don't have to bot. They can buy the skip.
all the way through the Shadowbringers one as well.
No, you have to play Shadowbringers, but that's only one expansion worth.
I
That's
mean,
not a
I-
lot.
I mean,
If you
there's
have
that,
the
and it
time-
also that
you have
becomes
the
a gate to
time
people
to-
who haven't done Shadowbringers and they're not botting and not doing that from getting their house. So that
Or it's somebody. Like, there are still people who haven't bought Shadowbringers yet. There are still people playing the game who only have like Stormblood. There are people who are playing the game who don't.
Right.
Who are only in Heaven's Ward.
So here's the thing: if you already have a house and the next expansion comes out,
uh-oh.
I couldn't hear
if
you.
you if you already own a house and the expansion comes out, that would be kind of a grandfathered situation where you wouldn't lose your house unless you're inactive for 45 days. Anybody who has then gotten Shadowbringers would have to go, and anybody new would have to go through the Shadowbringers expansion to get a house. Based on two things: playing through the main scenario, there's a very slim chance that you're going to rack up the guild requirement to get a house before you finish the main scenario quest.
Unless you buy it.
I mean, even if you buy it, then you're definitely not going to have them finish. You're not gonna rack up 3.5
No, I'm
million.
talking about if people just going out and buying guild.
Oh yeah, that does kind of drive people towards RMT.
Because
I
then
mean, they
now there's a gatekeep of like, well, now we have to finish the main scenario, but I'm gonna buy the skip for this alt so I can get through the main scenario so I can
honestly,
get another
I
house.
think it's
Now I'm gonna
okay.
buy RMT.
Way through the main scenario to get to the end of Stormblood. There's no skip through Shadowbringers.
No, but they're gonna get the skip. They're gonna grind through Shadowbringers just so that because that's the only thing stopping them from get a house.
And the
And
other
they're just
thing
gonna
is
buy
that,
money guild from
next
RMT.
year another
Do
expansion
you
is
think
coming
somebody
out,
who's
and
trying to bot multiple houses is going to go through that whole process?
But again,
that's the
that's-
thing, but
yes.
then you're like, I don't know. I think that the argument for the RP people is valid. 'Cause I don't, no RP shaming. I just think that that's too much of a minority to be the concern with the problem that we have.
I mean, we have whole RP servers. The RP scene is huge. It's just we're not part of it.
It is huge, but it's not the majority of the player base. And
I
the
mean-
majority of the player base has a housing problem.
my original point though was that I understand the intent of locking it behind completion of the Shadowbringers expansion or whatever the most recent X-Pack is, barring people grandfathering in.
And there's gonna be
But
a skip
that-
for Shadowbringers soon enough too.
But that
Yeah, but
that
it'll be-
also introduces an unnecessary gatekeeping tool for people that are on their first character that want to have a house. I'm not saying I necessarily would feel great about losing my house to a level 49 Sprout who hasn't, finished ARR or whatever, but that was never likely to start with.
Yeah, but who's gonna have that type of money to buy a house just at ARR unless they bought money?
Right. But then you have, like Draxus said, you have people who haven't played all of the expansions yet, or who haven't bought Shadowbringers because they got the box set that only included up to Stormblood. There's a lot of cases where introducing a roadblock to somebody and expansion locking it is going to be more of a deterrent to legitimate, house buying purposes than it is to
dinosaur.
bots.
The dinosaur spawns another fate.
Yeah, he
That is
spawns
fun,
3, yeah.
Oh.
I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like gatekeeping it. I guess it's a difference of opinion at this point. Because I feel like gatekeeping it behind a whole entire account is more deterrent than gatekeeping it behind like an MSQ or something like that.
I understand that argument. I lost my point.
Well, if
I-
people want to own multiple
I guess, like,
houses,
I guess I
we'll
think
just make the cost
point is,
exponential.
it's the what's the gatekeeping that's less harmful to the most people. I guess it's my point.
And I'm still very much in the camp of, like, just do some more instancing and we won't have to do either of those, probably.
Yeah.
But
Because we also forget about that they put in apartment. People have the ability to get a space of their own.
Yeah, but
The
that's
apartment is nowhere near what a house is.
Yeah.
Though, is the problem.
right. Because I had an apartment for the first 3 expansions.
I still have one. 'Cause you don't
I mean,
lose
I
it.
own one still. It's just
Yeah, but like if they added like, here's what I think. First of all, the apartments are really small because they're the size of a FC room. They're not even the size of a small plot, which fine. I would be happy enough with that if they gave us like, let's say, a little balcony where I could have an actual outdoor
Hey, can you
garden.
pull him away a little bit? He's like right on the edge, and I'm getting synced out.
Sure.
Okay.
Would it? So
I think
let me
that's
ask
the problem with the
you.
apartment. 'Cause
Would
that's
it-
like the main difference with apartment and houses, other than the size, is the fact that you have an exterior.
Would an exterior matter if you were in an instance zone? Though, let me ask you, because a lot of the conversation.
I'm talking about
was-
gardening, for instance.
Well, I mean, you can
I
put
can't
blocks
garden in an apartment.
Well, you can't crossbreed.
Yeah, well, which is if I'm
that's kind of the
talking about,
whole
like,
point of a garden.
that's kind of the whole point of gardening, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that anybody's using the flower pots for anything else. Because I mean, you can grow chocobo food, but
I mean, you can grow the flowers. You can grow in them from the vendors. Sell for pretty good.
depending, I've seen them go from 16k to 400 gil in like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fashion week.
I also had one in the market
Yeah.
for like a month that just doesn't sell.
Yeah. But no, I kind of see where you're coming from, Sarah. And also, if there was, even if it was a reduced space, if you had some room to model some of the exterior housing items, there'd probably be a little bit more mileage to get out of apartments.
Yeah, that's
Because
like, okay, if it's an apartment, then give me a little balcony. And
Because-
maybe like maybe my gardening plot would only have 4 slots and not 8.
right,
You know.
I could
But
see
4
that.
slots would be enough for like, yeah, it would, a lot less return than a 8-slot garden, but I could still do some crossbreed on it.
Right, you'd at least have a couple of options there. And even if you only
Yeah.
had like 5 exterior decorations and it was like a quarter the size of the normal outside yard area, it still would offer you some versatility. Because as it is right now, it's an FC room that you pay to have separate from an
More.
FC.
Yeah.
Honestly, the more we've been talking about it and whatnot, the more I think, the more I'm selling myself on the whole idea that it should be like the neighborhoods. You should have like separate instance neighborhoods for like FCs or whatever, so that you can just buy plots of additional plots to add on. Like, oh well, we have the big chocobo, we have the big FC house up at the top of the hill, and then we have a plot for like, Kai's private house and Shion's private house, all in the same little instance. And then
'Cause
that solves the whole issue of like you don't need to worry about the RPers, or you don't have to worry about this group of people or anything, because everybody will have access to it, and the RMTs will be like, okay, well, we're fucked because now they don't have anything to sell on.
And it's like, if you consider how many 4-person FCs or 4 or fewer person FCs there are, even just on Leviathan,
Yeah.
if you don't have to load all of those instances at the same time, you're saving presumably a lot of processing and a lot of server power there. So you'd be able to support more houses because there's all these people who are like, I want a house, and then they get one and then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, and then you would remove all the drama of people being like, and this is a thing that I see on Reddit all the fucking time, is people are getting like posting shit posts about their neighbors having a disgusting yard, or someone trolling with a yard full of Namazu statues and
The Gunbreaker.
well, the Gunbreaker is just practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that, and then you won't have to worry about somebody like FC like G buying up a whole fucking ward because they're greedy little fucks.
Well, it's like, I remember that one memeable house. I laughed about it at the time, but there's that house that used to be next door to, I think it was the headquarters in G back in Stormblood, where all 20 of the exterior slots were Moai statues, just all the way around the house.
God.
And then there was nothing in the house except for a stuffed fat cat downstairs. And the lighting was set at 0. So just a bunch of Moai statues and a fat cat on the downstairs floor. And it's like, it was funny because I was just jumping around our neighborhood one time and I encountered that, but also somebody bought a house and kept somebody else from owning a house who would love and adore it and decorate it so they could do that with it.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's like you have people who do that, and if all you had to do was just instance an FC neighborhood, then again, you wouldn't have 50 fucking houses you have to render all at the same fucking time.
So I guess my question to that is, could you opt into being in a randomly generated neighborhood? Because, for instance, I love you guys, but I also know my neighbors where I live. Like in my private residence, I know who lives next. Friends with, like they're on my friends list.
I mean, I don't have all the answers. I'm just saying, it's just like, if you would expect that, it's safe to expect that if you're friends with people, you should be able to travel to their instance, right? Like you can invite somebody into your house. You can invite people to teleport to you now as it is. And you can let people go into your room. I mean, it'd be like, if you remember WildStar and their instance housing, you could just search for people's houses and you could just travel there, or you could be invited to go there.
It's more or less not the fact that you're already friends. Like I met these people because they lived next.
Because they were your neighbors.
You're
I
saying
guess.
the neighborhood system worked for you.
Yeah,
basically.
That's what I'm saying. And I know it doesn't work for everybody, but I feel like if you're going to give people the option to instance their own house, you should also have the option to be random.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was coming from with the pods idea.
I also feel like you shouldn't be forced to be in an FC to have a house.
No, I mean, but it's just like, if you wanted a neighborhood, that's where the neighborhood aspect would come in. Is like you could have a neighborhood with your FC.
True, but if you want a neighborhood and you're not in an FC,
I feel like that you could have both things. You could have like a little neighborhood that is not tied to an FC, and you can also have an FC neighborhood, I guess.
In that sense, like I feel like that's genuinely what the neighborhood system was supposed to do, and I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, and I know that's why we need housing change. But for some people, myself included, it's neat to meet people because of where you live. It's like when you actually buy a house and you meet your neighbors for the first time.
Yeah, and you have like they come over and they bring cookies and they say, "Hey, we're the Smiths" or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I understand the intent behind that, and I wouldn't want to see that go away in its entirety.
I think on paper it's a great idea.
In practice, unfortunately, people are shit.
Yeah, when I first saw the system, I thought it was amazing. I think on paper it's great. It just doesn't work.
And I keep coming back to this pods idea. Like, Shio kind of touched on something there. You could opt into being in a generated pod where, like, you'd share an instance with a certain number of other houses. And they probably could have an algorithm that would find a way to make sure that they were having to run the fewest number of pods at the same time. Like they group a certain number of active people together so you don't have serious instance congestion, but so that you aren't running an instance for 2 people. They could strike a balance pretty easily that way. Honestly,
I mean, I agree with that. I feel like they just need to let it go wild for a little bit and then condense it. Like when they opened up all those wards and they were bought instantly, it's because there wasn't, people are buying them because they know it's limited. If they were just upfront and say, we're gonna open up wards after wards until everybody has their house, then I feel like eventually it would stop. And then as people lose their house because they're not selling it and they're not using it, it would become less congested.
And I feel like if you opt out of being, grouped into a pod, if you're like, no, I don't want any neighbors, I want my own private instance or whatever, like, you probably would have reduced instance load priority. When there's high congestion, you might have a queue to get to your plot or whatever, which is, I mean, it's not ideal, but it would help them save enough resources on the server end to make sure that more people were able to get houses. And it still preserves the opportunity for that neighborhood feel. You get that pod with maybe one other FC and a couple private houses, and you have an opportunity to meet some neighbors.
And you could still have the relocation thing, so like you can always move if your neighborhood sucks, I guess.
Yeah, you could pay some kind of a token amount of gil, and just get grouped into another random pod, or opt back out of being in a pod.
What the house sellers did this last House in Savage was awful, because what they did was they bought all the new plots and immediately like relocated away from them, so they put it all on timers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the shitty thing that happened this time, which is why even though as fast as I got myself in the game, everything was already on timers.
Yep. I will say one and only one of those timers in the new plot was my fault, because I was running past trying to beat somebody to a medium plot, and I tagged a small on the way because I didn't own a house. And then 2 hours later, a plot opened up just down the street from our FC house, and I went, I'm going to relocate. But,
right, and there's a good chance that like it could have happened honestly like that with other people too. But
one dude was bragging about it in /shout.
Yeah, like the number of houses that this happened to, it's not possible that it was all like it happened to you,
Right.
Not to mention, there are people that were there are people coming like logging from different servers just to clog up the queue, and there are people bragging about that in Reddit.
No, and people were buying houses literally just to sell it because they were immediately selling it on Reddit too. So like.
Yeah.
And that's as long as it's such a
limited
limited quantity.
Commodity. Or quantity. Yeah, both things work.
Both of those work.
It essentially became kind of a stock market where you make investments.
Yep.
And then eventually sell off those investments for ridiculous amounts of cash.
And that's what people who defend the system or defend, house selling, they're like, Square Enix knows exactly what they did, so I don't know why people are bitching, because they knew it was going to be a hot commodity and it was going to be limited, so they knew it was going to be used for marketable and shit like that.
Somebody made the argument that it was a way to get gil out of the game, and I'm like, no, it's not, because you're just passing it around. That argument doesn't hold water at all.
I mean, it's just scalping.
They did that. The way it kind of was on the legacy servers, because the legacy players had a shit ton of gil.
Yeah.
Right? So what they did is they just increased the pricing of housing on legacy servers to an astronomical amount, where legacy players would be the ones to be able to afford it, but the new players on those servers would not.
Yeah.
But then it would also drain the pockets of the legacy players.
Right, they did need a way to like make the legacy players drop some cash.
Right, and that would be a way to remove it from circulation, but scalping does not remove currency from the market. It just passes it around. That's economics.
Yeah.
The only thing that a money sink can be is something that is given to an NPC or a system that is not player owned.
Yeah.
That it is then gone forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like literally the well of prosperity. Like RuneScape, it's literally, if you want to donate to charity, donate gil to this, and X amount of money goes to charity, and they just throw money down the hole.
And it just removes currency from circulation in the game.
Yeah, I think Mr. Happy was talking about that once, or he's like, he wants a gil sink, but like that, like, give me something that's like, it's a cool ass mount that costs like 20 million gil, but not by another player, by an NPC,
Yeah. Honestly, if they had the ability to convert in-game gil into support for stuff like nonprofits, that would be seriously in line with our mission. You know, we could actually do cool
Use the
events and
extra
stuff
money.
with like raffles for gil in-game and have a use for that freaking gil.
Yep. That would be cool.
That would be
I'd
cool.
up for that.
I don't understand why they can't just do something like EVE Online, where you can convert in-game currency into game time.
Let's actually accept that
That-
teleport this time.
That's what WoW does now too.
But
Is that
doesn't
true?
that just loses them money though? Because then we're not paying for the subscription.
So
Protection.
what RuneScape did to circumvent that problem, because they didn't like that people were selling, you know, gold and stuff, they would, you could buy in-game membership with, you know, with in-game currency, or you could buy the token that you can redeem for a reduced amount of membership for real-world cash. So you could kind of, sort of go back and forth between cash and
Xion?
in-game currency.
I have to jet. But it was fun. I will. I'll be back a little bit later. I got D&D to do.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
alright.
Enjoy.
Right, have fun,
Have fun,
guys.
Shion.
Have a good night. He did actually bring up a good point. We are at the technical stop time for Sunday
I
Funday
just
stuff.
noticed that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
This,
mean, I always really liked the ISK and Plex system from EVE Online, because
Mm.
you could actually pay for your subscription if you played enough. It was pretty clever.
Yeah, but then they would lose all the money from all the
No,
people
because-
that.
There's a lot of games that do that. WoW does it now too, where you can trade your subscription time for in-game gold, or you can buy subscription time with in-game gold. Right? So that's what
Yes.
the balance is. It's like you
Yeah.
either sell real money or your sub time, which is basically a endorsed RMT.
Yeah, basically. That's how you get rid of gold sellers. You beat them at their own
I'm
game.
not understanding what you're saying.
So we're paying, $10, $15, or $12 a month for our sub, right?
Okay.
So it's like, why did I go to Tomra?
Good
Oh
question.
no, we're following you there.
Bye, guys, I guess.
Yeah. So
Just by myself at Fanau.
yeah,
Go
that's where
back to
I
Fanau.
So you either like say that you could be like, hey, they'll be like, hey, you go onto like Mog Station and there's like additional services and be like, hey, you can cut your sub time short by 2 weeks, but we'll give you X amount of gil. Why did I just teleport back to Fanau?
Great question. TLDR, they don't lose money on your sub because you can buy more sub than you need and then sell it for gil. So
Basically.
they can, if anything, they might make even more money from you because basically you're buying gil, but you're doing it legitimately because it's the game selling it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
and
or
EVE
it's
Online
like-
has no RMT except for the one that the developers put out. Like,
Yeah.
it's unheard of. They can't. The botters can't compete with the game company.
Yep, that's what RuneScape did. That's what Diablo 3 did. You know, that's how you beat RMT, is you just RMT by yourself and offer better rates they can't compete with.
That's not what we're fighting, dude. Oh.
I know.
But yeah, and that's because then you don't have, it's safer because then you don't have to run the risk of getting hacked. You
Right?
don't have to run the risk of, getting kicked from this or getting your account banned.
And there are some games where it raises the concern of pay to win, because if you can spend real world money to get things with gil and you don't have to farm them anymore, then it's not fair to everybody else. But in a game like Final Fantasy XIV, at least as it currently exists, there's just not enough stuff that only requires farming gil for you to get. Like, it's not going to be a significant leg up.
Yeah.
Having money in this game does not equate to you having an upper hand
Yeah.
in combat scenarios to be a pay to win, I guess.
Right. Like, you can get better gear,
You
but
can't buy skill.
yeah, there's no accounting for spamming Cure 2 and Malik as well.
Yeah, but
That's all
it's
I'm
not
saying.
like, in a Call of Duty thing where, like, you can get the gun that is objectively better or whatever,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Right.
They're not
Because,
gonna.
yeah, you could buy crafted gear, but, like, that's not that much of an advantage, honestly.
Like the closest that it would come to is like because there's still the clear sellers for the raids and stuff. Those people.
Yeah.
It's also RNG though.
Is that considered RMT? Because you're paying them gil.
They're basically mercenaries at that point.
No, you're paying them gil, but a lot of those clear sellers are actually botters too.
Well, it's also how
It's
a lot
like
of
a system of like they create the demand and then they create the supply.
But I mean, at that point though, it's like then there's the people like the actual raiders who will use that to build up their money so that they can, when the next raid crafted raid set drops, then they can all just buy it with the FC cash. There
Fair.
are those groups, but that would be the closest thing I can think of there being like a negative drawback, like
Yeah,
or
but,
a
like,
pay to win, because then you could just pay those people to clear you through the raids, but then at the same
And-
time it's like it's not too much
What's
of an
the
effect.
advantage that you have by clearing the raid over me?
Not much.
Other than the world first people, and the world first people don't need that.
Yeah, and the world first people aren't gonna give that to you.
Right, and I mean, you could say that would give them access to some stuff like Savage tokens before you got access to them, but, I mean, you don't need Savage gear to get through non-Savage content.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only need Savage gear to get through Savage content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's sort of, yeah.
And it's not like, and your gear doesn't give you any leg up in PvP either, so...
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, it's just a win-win for Square Enix, because then they'll get the people who just, there'll be the people who know life it, who will be buying their sub with gil, but then there's the people who, who
It's kinda
take
like the
breaks, who are still
argument
going to pay
that-
paying their subs.
There was an argument of some people that are against the story skip and class skip, which I am against it,
Because it makes bad players.
because it makes bad players.
yeah.
But,
it
but
does. No
some
dispute
people
there.
Some people argue that it's pay to win, because it's paying to get you, not at max level, but close enough, right?
I mean, it
But it's
definitely
like,
isn't pay to
but
win.
It doesn't give you skill though, and then you get to Homester Switch, and we all know how that goes.
Yep, you get somebody who shows up with a novice leaf and a bunch of augmented Skaven gear and no idea how to press buttons.
Well,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not. If anything, it's a disadvantage. So
I feel like if you skip all of the content to jump in 4 expansions into a game, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice.
yeah, because this game is already a lot to manage on your very first time logging in. Can you imagine your very first time logging in and you have a level 70 character?
I mean, following all my friends that have joined this game since 2020 has been a thing, and how they've all commented on the fact that it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff, and it doesn't feel like a lot of stuff to us who
Because
me and Draft is even longer, but we've been here for a long time, so
and for us, it built incrementally. We didn't log in and have 20 actions that we could use. We started with 1.
right. And like they didn't skip anything, so like as far as action, sure, but like the fact that like, can you remember what it was like reaching level 50, or not remember, but like, can you realize what it's like to reach level 50 now, and the amount of stuff that suddenly unlocks to you?
Right.
It's insane. And that's at level 50, and then there's the 60 and the 70, right?
Yep.
So it's a lot of shit to just skip through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's ignoring my opinion on skipping the story, because I'm not going to
Right, but
shame
then-
anybody that isn't here for the story, but it makes me personally sad because I like it. Yep.
Yeah.
Not to drop any airy names or anything.
Yeah.
Said with love. Said with love.
She's watching the stream later. Hi, Ari from the future.
We miss you.
But yeah, like,
Like-
I also don't understand the people that want to skip the story. I do kind of understand the idea of like, oh, but I wanted to play with my boyfriend and he's already at the end game and I just want to catch up. Like,
I can't
get
fault
that.
somebody for not wanting to get into the story for like their 9th MMO. I played so many MMOs where I just hard skip through all the story because they hadn't done anything to hook me or to earn my attention, like Terra, for example. But I've been
Oh,
a
wow.
hardcore Final Fantasy fan since like 1996. So when they're like, "Hey, here's an MMO with a rich story," I'm like, obviously I'm gonna do it.
Right, and I get that, like, there's a lot of people also, and I've seen this on Reddit a lot, that came from WoW and just assumed that
This is garbage.
just the story is garbage or not there or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, and then they start with, you know, Realm Reborn, and we can all agree.
Realm
it doesn't
Reborn was
start
just the
great.
worst one.
That's not aged
I
well.
actually have a fondness for the beginning of Realm Reborn. I hate the middle of the 2.0, and then I like the ending again.
I hate the
But
Crystal Braid.
I actually like the beginning of, like, I like the idea that you get there and you're a nobody and you're kind of just building a reputation. I actually like that.
I also like that, but I definitely can see how somebody who's played 5 or 6 MMOs, especially WoW clones
Right.
before, can go, "Oh, it's the exact same start to every adventure tale I've ever done. Why should I care about any of this?"
I totally get that. And I also get that having to say to someone, like, just wait about 50 levels and it's gonna get good is also a lot.
Right. And the thing is,
Stuff with someone.
a lot of Realm Reborn relies very heavily on nostalgia high, where they drop proper nouns from previous titles in the Final Fantasy franchise. They're like, "Oh, I remember the Enterprise from this thing," or "Oh, this is this game's Sid. Sid is in every game." But if you're not
Oh, look, it's Biggs and Wedge.
like
Yeah.
right, but like if you haven't played Final Fantasy games before, they don't do a good job of giving you a reason to want to experience the story out of the gate.
Oh, Curl, did you leave?
What? I'm here.
Oh, you're just not in Raktika.
Oh yes. I'm not.
Oh. Okay.
I'm in the middle of a cutscene actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's been like half hour past our.
Yeah.
And we're just like
We've
Well,
just been
well,
sucked into this
well-
conversation.
this philosophical debate about housing and story and the etiquette and correctness of some of the choices and decisions that should be made or have been made.
If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact and you have opinions about how the housing situation should be resolved, or if you think it's good, or if Realm Reborn did a good job of getting people sucked into the story or not, let us know in the comments below.
Or if you're a sex bot, say hi.
Yes, definitely say hi.
But no, I mean, I guess you have a point too. Like, I haven't played MMOs before, so the fact that you start off as nobody and it's just like this small adventure story in the beginning grabbed me. That I like fantasy stories and I like RPGs, but I never played an MMO, so it wasn't like old to me, you know?
Oh, who'd we just lose?
I'm not sure. There's no AFK timer, so
No, I'm
Weird.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but if you do watch some of the videos or read some of the things about people who came from WoW, the one thing that they always wind up saying is that they love the story of Final Fantasy XIV so much. Simply because, again, WoW, you're a nobody and you're treated like a nobody, despite you taking down the Lich King and freaking I forget the name of the dragon, the Cataclysm dragon now.
Whatever.
Deathwing, yeah.
Deathwing, yes. You take down these basically gods of the lore, and you're still a nobody.
By the time
And-
you get to the end of the 14 storyline and people are tripping over themselves to say hi to you, you kind of earned it. You like
Yeah.
how you feel
And
about
it's-
it is up to you, but you
Which is
can't
why
dispute
I
that you've
start-
earned it.
Which is why I like the fact that we started just being a random person getting there, you know?
Right.
'Cause
Feels like you earned it.
That we got to that point, yeah.
Yeah. You did all the normal bullshit MMO stuff. You did the fetch quests. You did the go kill a bunch of random monsters in the grinding.
And to their credit, the game
of course-
continued to stay relevant and narratively involved for 30 levels and 3 expansions past hitting that point, which I think is pretty exceptional.
Yeah. And the story just keeps growing and becoming better and better. I mean, for crying out loud, Shadowbringers it was awarded the best story of an MMO ever created. That was PC Gamer that gave it that award. During the... Yeah.
It's just refreshing not to read 30 pages of quest text on that awful beige background.
I just, and then ultimately skip it because it's like, okay, this has nothing to do with me. Just give me the freaking quest. Tell me to go over here, grab the thing, and come back.
Yeah, as
I've been
somebody who
watching
read...
someone play through Final Fantasy the first time that has been a WoW player for 15 years, and the way he gets hyped with the story, and he keeps comparing it to WoW a lot. Of like, the thing is that WoW, you keep being a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they do have cutscenes and they do have a story, you're just a side character. You're not actually part of
Yeah,
it.
you're in the background just watching
Yeah.
the big hero, take on the bad guy.
Yeah.
As somebody who read all of the quest dialogue from vanilla up through Mists of Pandaria, and then kind of realizing how many hours of my life I had spent wasted reading text dialogue that didn't matter and didn't engage me at all, 14 has been just an entirely different animal over the last 5 years.
Just the fact that like if you're actually like a lore person and you're just like you can spend your time going around talking to random NPCs.
Yeah.
And that will add so much to the world too.
Yeah.
You can get so many, even if it's just like little short thingies, right? Just little bits of a person's character that you learn by talking to them off of a quest. Which I think is really cool. Like during the patches of Realm Reborn, there's a whole like side story going on with the Scions inside the Rising Stone that's hilarious.
Oh, like you seeing Mo and Brita out drinking Thancred on the table?
Like Thancred passing out drunk and Mo and Brita just calling him a bitch, basically.
Yeah.
I love that at different points in the story between the Rising Stones and even back during the Waking Sands, the NPCs had like their own little side dramas going on. So like in this most recent patch, they're talking about Graha at the Rising Stones. Like 2 people want to fight him, 2 people want to date him. Just
there's also a moment in Realm Reborn where you get into the Rising Stone and there's like 4 women fighting over Thancred.
Yep.
Oh my! I remember that.
Yeah. Or not to mention, you miss like in Realm Reborn, when you have those first 3 introductory dungeons. You have Sistasha, you have Copperbell, and you have Kintara. There's a whole like. There's a whole lot going on with the NPCs that you keep recurringly seeing.
And they come
During
back
the
for
game.
hard mode.
Well,
Yeah, they do.
yeah, and Tom Tara.
Yep.
But like Delorious Bear and his party, who arrived at Sistasha after you had already cleared it, they're the first ones.
Is this good?
What?
Hold on,
Sorry.
she's bringing
Good.
me a gallon of milk.
Oh.
Smell it.
I will take this brief interlude to say that I'm probably about faded out for the night. We're a little bit over our normal end time, so I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here. But
It's not good.
if anybody has any opinions about when they might like to see the bonus episode, let me know either in Discord or via PM or something. And if I don't hear from anybody, I will probably just pick a day that works for me and let you know.
Do /random7 and pick a number.
Number 1 to 7. Well, it's gonna be random 6. I can't do Kai plays on Sunday.
So
Right,
it's also
random
gonna be random
6.
5 because I'm assuming Thursday is still happening.
That's true. So
3 out of 5. There you go.
boom.
That's what Wednesday.
What's that? Wednesday? Yeah.
And we were also really glad that you were able to drop by and join us in the chat, Celestia. I hope it's been marginally as fun being privy to the conversation as it is to be shouting with us on Discord and talking over each other about housing opinions.
I hope it was in any way coherent.
Yeah. You're just getting what's coming through my headset, so I hope it still made sense.
Yeah, it smells fine. It tastes fine. It's fine.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to go out to buy milk tomorrow.
Okay,
I
so
love that this is going on right now.
right. I am going to drop out of the chat for a minute here to wrap up our stream, but if anybody wants to run stuff after, just let me know.
All right.
Bye, stream people. Come back later for more inappropriate adult humor.
Rated D for Draxus.
Yes.
And with that, that does conclude our Sunday Funday festivities for today. We'll have more options available in our Discord channel shortly after the stream wraps up. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, please take note in the description below. We have a link to financially support our most recent fundraiser as part of Chocomus 2020. We are raising funds to support Save the Children in their ongoing efforts against the coronavirus. That will be running until March 31st, 2021. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Kai, and I'll see you next time.